Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
Back in your life on this Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. I sure hope you are doing well on this lovely, lovely Wednesday in New York City. It's still incredible weather out there. The vibes are still immaculate. And truth be told, can I just be on, like, you all know what's on my mind. You all know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know how to handle the top of today's show. I don't know how to verbalize the emotions, the feelings, for multiple reasons. Because what I witnessed last night at Madison Square Garden is one of the most insane sporting events, achievements, 7 minutes that I've ever witnessed. But truth be told, exactly a year ago, 363 days ago to be exact, I was on the opposite end of that gut punch, that heartbreak. And it just so happens that my good friend and partner in crime, Mr. New York Rick, is a fan of that other team. And so I can't sit here and actually gloat. I can't sit here and say, oh my God, we're going to do it. We're a team of destiny. This is a shoot, brother. This is a shoot. I was so first of all, I was so upset up until Landry Shamet gets into the game. Landry Shamet changed everything. Everyone's going to focus on Jalen Brunson last night. Landry Shamet changed everything. And why it took so long for him to enter the game when he played so well in games 3 and 4, I will never understand. But alas, better late than never. He comes into the game. We end up being down 22 with about 7:40 left. And then all of a sudden, Brunson takes over. Landry gets an offensive foul. He makes a 3. Mikal Bridges is back to the Phoenix Suns version of himself. And Rick, when Landry hit that 3 to tie the game, sub 1 minute, I kid you not, this has never happened to me. I fell back into my chair and I started crying. I could not process what had just happened.
I was crying too.
And
I was crying too when that shot that was about to go out goes in, and then when Sam Merrill gets the bang from Mike Breen,
I never saw the
and it rolls out. I mean, the basketball god smiled upon the Knicks last night.
For once. But it is absurd, right? Exactly a year ago, almost to the day, I looked it up. It was May 21st. Yesterday was May 19th. So it was May 21st of 2025. You remember what happened against Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. I think we were down 14 with 2:40-something left. So it's almost even more absurd, even though it was less time.
Up.
And we were up 14.
You were up 14.
Yeah, what did I say? Down? We were up 14, and then we blew it. Neesmith with the threes and whatnot. I was sitting in the same freaking room on the same freaking couch, frozen afterwards. And then, of course, we lose game 2, and then you're never going to come back after that, losing 2 games like that at home, and then you have to go on the road. So I know the feeling. To be there exactly a year later and say, how the hell did this happen, but in a good way, words escape me.
I'm happy for you.
I don't think you're happy for me, and I don't expect you to be happy for me.
I am happy
that's your
for
team.
You.
I just don't even know how to process it. I don't want to sit here and gloat. I want to be respectful of the fact that you got gut punched, because I wouldn't want you to come on and gloat if the opposite happened to me. But it was beyond comprehension.
There was a point in the third quarter I was like, man, how am I going to handle walking in after the Cavs beat the Knicks by 25 points?
That was what was
thankfully, I didn't have to navigate that.
I know what you're going to do right now. You're going to say you guys suck and you're dead and this and that. I don't believe that.
The Knicks and Cavs both suck, as I've said all along.
I take offense to that.
I'm sorry. The East is just crap. You can't watch the game 2 nights ago and then watch last night and be like, those are the same quality.
Yes.
You can't.
But if you make it there, remember, 2019 Raptors-Warriors, no one thought that the Raptors had any chance.
The Warriors lost their entire roster.
No. Yes. Durant gets hurt in the finals. Clay gets hurt in the finals.
Durant was hurt before that and then got hurt to the point that he couldn't even play.
Clay tears his ACL. Yeah. They probably still win that series without Durant, if Clay's okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
My point is, you just got to get there. So, like, I get that thing on Twitter all the time where it's like, all to lose in the finals. I just want to get there. I just want to know what that feels like.
Well, you're going to get there. The Cavs stink. The Cavs fucking stink.
That was what MSG.
James Harden is a traffic call.
How quiet was MSG? MSG was.
It was silent. Crickets.
Never heard it like that for a playoff game.
And then it erupted. And it was like an earthquake.
There's no greater arena when like they're hot. There's no arena that sounds like that.
Kenny Atkinson, the noise must have like affected him. Maybe he couldn't process the idea of calling a timeout or something.
Call a timeout.
Because of the noise that was
kept James Harden on Jalen.
James Harden in isolation on Jalen Brunson for 8 straight plays.
The degree
abysmal.
of difficulty of some of those shots that Jalen was hitting.
He's a bad boy. Jalen Brunson is. He's a bad boy.
Mikal Bridges turning back the clock. Of course, I get.
Yeah. Let's relive it all.
No, I'm sorry.
No, let's go play by play.
No.
When Mikal Bridges on a shot clock bailout is hitting fadeaway threes, Landry Shamit's from the corner a 3 that looks like it's gonna brick out. The crowd goes, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was wild. I thought he missed it too.
It was destiny. That's hard. Sam Merrill, pure shooter, brilliant.
Have we earned that though?
What? I am genuinely
breaks.
happy for you because my expectations for the Cavs are so fucking low. It's unbelievable. Like they do this every game. They do this every single game.
One of the highlights of the night was this was happening at around 10:45, late, and all of a sudden, no chatter whatsoever about this game, and all of a sudden I get I don't know what, I forget what he wrote, but a text from Pizzi just like mate or something like that. I'm like, wow, Pizzi's up. What time is it? 3:40. Pizzi, what are you?
By the way, I can tell that everybody was on pins and needles because there was no talk of this incredible game in the group chat.
No, there couldn't be.
Why? I don't care. Please, I encourage everybody.
If it's not, I always think if I'm not talking to him beforehand and into the game, don't start anytime in the midst of it. You know,
this was like don't disturb Helwani while he's.
I didn't ask for that. I'm just not.
No. I just feel
I put my phone away. Sometimes.
I thought people were concerned for my well-being, but trust me,
I didn't know what to say. I didn't know. I had nothing to say. I didn't know what to say.
I thought it was done. I was going to bed about 3:30. I was like, right, it's over. This is going to be it.
I think Kenny Atkinson did too. He fell asleep at some point.
I will admit there was a moment where I was like, why am I putting myself through this? Landry comes in, I'm like, and you know, my boy loves Landry. That's his favorite player.
That's his favorite.
My son, and he's like, yes, here he comes. Like, that's his guy. And then he does this, he gets an offensive foul, he hits a 3, and then he does all these other little things, and he's like, I told you that. Let me tell you something. One of my favorite memories as a kid, one of my favorite memories, a memory that I'll never, ever, ever forget, is Game 6 of the 1994 NBA Finals. Knicks Rockets. We're up 3-2. We go to Houston. It's a Sunday night game, and I'm in 6th grade, same age as my middle son. And I tell my dad, who does not give 2 craps about sports, doesn't watch anything, immigrant from Egypt, has no interest in any type of sporting event, watching a sporting event, playing in a sporting event, nothing. Doesn't hate on it, just doesn't watch it, doesn't want to partake, is not interested in it. And I remember telling him, the Knicks are going to be champions tonight. They're actually going to win the NBA Finals. All these years of heartbreak, they haven't won since 1973. I was obsessed with them. And he sat there and watched the whole game with me. And it ended with a John Starks blocked 3-pointer. Hakeem Olajuwon Ewing was open in the paint. He didn't pass to him. He went for the win. They're down 2. Man, and I remember us being quiet, and I remember him getting up and him saying, like, it's okay, they'll win the last one, because it was Game 7. I explained it all to him. And so to now be in that position all these years later with 2 boys who are as into it as I am, going crazy, around the same age as I am, it just makes it so much more emotional. Like 1994 was what? 22 years ago? Am I right? 32 years ago. 32 years ago. Yes, 32. Holy shit. And so to be in this position and react to these things with now 2 clones, it's spiritual. I hate to say it. I was talking to my mom about this, about the Canadians, because I feel like Montreal has been divided. And it's the same with fighting as well in sports and what we try to be for people. Sports is the ultimate unifier, and it's spiritual. Look at the scenes in Arsenal, in North London yesterday for Arsenal. Look at those scenes. Look at what those scenes will be when hopefully Spurs stay up on Sunday. It is spiritual. It is, if you don't understand it, and that's why I love this thing that I'm doing with the Premier League, because it's not just sports. It really isn't. And that was something I'll never forget. I couldn't go to sleep, guys. There's no better. I was Daniel Cormier.
I slept right
meme.
away.
I was the Daniel Cormier meme. You know the one?
Scrolling?
No, like you're in bed.
Yeah, looking at the phone with the glow.
And every single highlight, I'm rewatching it every single moment. Gosh.
The Bridges one was insane. When the clock was running out and he just turned and hit the 3, I was like, there's no fucking way he's in this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. Mikal Bridges has the confidence of the Mikal Bridges that we saw in like 2021. Also, he hit a corner three. Anyway, I don't want to relive it all.
No, let's go play by play.
Hopefully, when they make it to the finals, we'll all be on the same page for that one. And yes, I know they'll be.
I will not be.
No, you'll be rooting against them?
I won't be rooting against them, but I kind of know how this goes.
Well, told you about that James Harden, though, didn't they?
I don't know if it would be a fair fight anymore at this point.
Yeah, Pete, you were probably loving this, right?
Fucking Harden as usual. You know what I mean? Of course.
I still don't understand where the Harden hatred developed, but it is funny that Pete hates him so much.
Oh my gosh, what a time. By the way, congratulations to the Arsenal fans out there. I actually really like the Arsenal fans. I don't mind them. They're a little bit hoity-toity, right, PT? Like they're a little bit entitled even though they haven't won anything in, 22 years? But I thought the scenes were nice.
The scenes were nice. Like, that's the way you want to see them celebrating. I think they just hit a bit of a bad patch during the season because they were in everything. They were complaining a lot, obviously, with City gaining on them. But I was listening to a fan speak about it on Second Captains today. He's from North London. He lives around there, and they were asking him what the scenes are like. He's like, I could only compare it to the fall of a dictatorship or something. Like it was like some massive moment that happened in North London. So everyone seemed to congregate around the stadium there. So yeah, great to see it.
Happy for Frank Warren, happy for KSI, all those fans. They seem to be true fans. Actually, Dakota Ditcheva's manager, Azhar Muhammad Saul, sent me this message. He just dropped this in the WhatsApp to me. A conversation that we had with Dakota, who is obviously a noted Man City fan. He dropped this clip from our show from back in January. Take a look. You think you guys catch Arsenal?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know what Arsenal are like at the end. My manager's going to hate watching this.
Bottlers, right? The absolute biggest bottlers of all time. Bottlers no more. He kept.
Yo, did you see? There was this meme throughout there, kind of like they were kind of hitting this calamitous spell where City were gaining on them, and there was this dude, the City fan, who would carry around this Arsenal bottle full of their tears or whatever, and he'd start they're bottling it basically. Man, that dude, every game he's in the City stand watching them. He's watching them lose to Bournemouth, and the fucking camera just fixed on him. Imagine being that dude. You made your whole gimmick about Arsenal bottling it, and then the camera's on you as City inevitably bottle it.
Yes, and the scenes of Pep with his books walking down the street all sad. I don't know if you saw that. But there's some great imagery out there. There's some fantastic imagery, and now they have a chance to actually pull off. What would it be? The double? Not the double. What would you call it? The brace?
Be a double, yeah.
Would it be the double? Yeah. When's Champions League? Next weekend, right? Now they have a chance to win Champions League as well. I mean, they could erase all of that bottling mojo in one fell swoop. How are we feeling on air, Jordan, about Spurs? How are we feeling?
I think that question really should go to Petey's dad.
Petey's dad, how are you feeling, sir?
My dad won't even watch them play at the moment, and I'm bringing him to make him sit there and watch this final game. Like, he goes to the shop last night as the Chelsea match is on. Like, he can't sit there and watch it. He's like calling me, what's happening now? All right, it's free kick that. All right, go ahead. Yeah, I'm just going to stay on the phone for a minute. Like, just making me talk him through the match as he wanders aimlessly around the local supermarket pretending he has something better to do.
I am nervous for him on Sunday because, again, for those that don't know, you will be in attendance. You will be at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And if anyone sees PT and Mr. Carroll in attendance, give him a hug. Give him a hug if you're walking around the grounds. Give him a nice hug. You're all in it together, man. You may see one of the greatest moments in Spurs history. I hope you don't see the opposite.
You do know the last. We went from winning Europa League to maybe not being in the Prem in a year.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, one good omen, Jordan, is that my dad and me watched that Europa League final together because obviously I'm a Manchester United fan. He's a Spurs fan, and Spurs won. So I'm hoping I will bring a similar kind of energy to this situation. But man, it's like, as you're saying, the scenes around London, I was kind of hoping that Arsenal would win that day. So you're in North London. Hopefully Spurs stay up, Arsenal win. Everybody's happy. But like, the other thing about it is I'm in London. West Ham or Spurs have to go. It's going to be a scene of jubilation and a scene of absolute devastation for either of these clubs. And probably going to see a lot of the fans as I'm going around London on Sunday. So crazy times.
Well, if only you can call up a certain WWE superstar and have them curse West Ham, because I believe this is actually a real thing. Are you aware of this, PT, what's happening here with this Danhausen fellow?
I have seen some of this Danhausen guy.
Danhausen has cursed the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'd like to ask New York Rick how he feels about this. He went on ESPN yesterday. He said, "I'm cursing the Cleveland Cavaliers," and I'm rooting, like rolling my eyes about all of this. It's a little bit funky. Like, what does this have to do with anything? But this could not be working out better for WWE, ESPN, and Danhausen himself, because there he is on the court before the game, holding up the Knicks Danhausen jersey. I don't even think he lives in New York. I think they're just flying him out here to do this. He looks like that. It's somewhat ridiculous. Imagine you're just some guy sitting in the stands waiting for the game to start, and you're like, who's this guy dressed as Dracula holding up a Knicks jersey? And then, of course, he takes to Twitter, as they say, after the victory, and he says this.
Danhausen told you the curse was real. We did it. Danhausen has cursed the Cavaliers. The Knicks have won. And Danhausen has won. And now he's owed courtside seats in between Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. Yes, that's right. And then the curse will continue.
Rick, how do you feel about this curse?
You have to go back further. What you didn't state is that previously the Knicks were cursed.
That's right.
Stephen A. Smith and Danhausen were going back and forth, and he cursed the Knicks. And then that's when CJ McCollum was doing his thing against the Knicks.
That's right.
Now it has shifted to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The power of Danhausen is impressive. I don't believe in the Cavaliers, but I do believe in Danhausen.
It is a remarkable thing how poorly his debut went off and how amazing everything has gone since then.
What happened in his debut?
Oh, well, they built up this. You remember they built up.
Oh,
this
he was
thing,
in the box. He was in the box.
And then he came out, and it was a bit of like an underwhelming reveal.
But he's been incredible.
Every single thing since then has been like a 15 out of 10.
Unbelievable.
They've hit on everything, including this. Like, ultimately, did he really curse them? No, but
yes, of course he did. What are you talking about?
The fact
Hang on, I'm not ruling this. Can we talk to him about West Ham? Can we have a word?
That's what I'm saying.
If I was a sports team out there, I would be,
reaching out
calling
to
Danhausen. Yes,
this could be a whole other lane for him.
All he needs is American monies. You pay him American monies, and it's all good.
He's playing a character, but in his head, breaking kayfabe when that was happening, he must have been like, "Holy shit! I cannot believe how well this is going."
I think his first thought was,
"I cannot believe this."
I think he was just like, "I'm about to make so much fucking money." Like as soon as they start calling,
without even wrestling.
Also, Pete, speaking of making money. If you wanted to do an emotional hedge, or your pops wanted to do an emotional hedge, Tottenham to get relegated is plus 475.
Oh, you can't do that. Oh. You can't do that.
I'm just saying, like it's just like I personally don't think you even have to worry. I think it's gonna be great on Saturday for you and your pops, or on Sunday. But yeah, just saying it's.
We have 3 bites of the cherry. This is as my dad put it there yesterday on the phone, of course, because he could no longer sit down and watch the fucking game. He rings me and he goes, "This is the way I see it. We can win, we can draw, we can lose once they don't win. We have 3 bites of the cherry." And I was like, "All right, Dad." And he goes, "But if anyone could fuck this up." And I was like, don't even go there. Don't even go there. He's calling on the supernatural as well. He's talking about hooking up with long lost cousins, and he thinks the love that he'll feel from these experiences will somehow extend itself onto the pitch. So Danhausen completely in the orbit of the Carroll consciousness right now, I can assure you.
I bet we could reach Danhausen if your dad wants to have a chat.
He tweeted me after I said, I said, like, I wasn't really a believer in all of this, but please keep this going, Danhausen. Could you imagine, let me just tell you something, if they do pull it off, and I know the cards are stacked against him and all this stuff, but like the aura that this guy will have in the city of New York, put him in the fucking parade.
Well, he would have to
Danhausen on one of the floats.
They've got to give him courtside seats, right?
Oh,
they have to do it.
He was there, but they're gonna have to curse he has to curse their opponent in the Western, because right now all he did was curse the Cavs.
No. I'm saying, imagine if the Knicks win it all.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying he didn't curse the.
Sure. One curse at a time.
He's an anti. He's not saying the Knicks. He's not exalting the Knicks, although he is wearing the jersey. He has cursed the Cavaliers. What you need is next round, when the Thunder or Spurs win, for Danhausen to be paid off to then curse.
I'll pay him off. I bet you Knicks fans would all.
Oh, they would go fund me in a heartbeat.
We'll do anything.
Curse those.
You know whose fault this is? This is the Miz's fault.
He's a Cleveland guy.
Because he has a feud with Miz, so he's trying to get back.
By the way, Pete, 3 bites of the cherry is the expression over there?
I don't know, man. He said to me, I'm direct.
We call it the apple just because I'm thinking like a cherry's pretty small. That's a one biter, like
If
no
that,
matter
yeah.
what.
I mean, 2 max.
2 max on a.
We ration food very well.
Yeah, not for Pizzi's dad.
He's watching his caloric deficit the whole time.
Well played, Pizzi. It's fun.
If
it's
only
fun.
you had a winger, number maybe, I don't know, a 22, flying down the sides there, to get a,
fucking right.
a
man,
good
seriously.
goal, If only, why'd they get rid of him? I don't get it. Why'd they get rid of him? Everything went to shits for them after they got rid of Brendan Johnson.
Jordan,
Anyway,
they're a good team on paper, right? You have a good team on paper. I don't understand it. Like you have a centre half there that can play for most teams in the Premier League.
The
Defenders.
saving grace is that James Maddison is back, and he's been out for nearly a year with an ACL injury, and we're relying on that guy to save the season.
He has 25 minutes in him, right? That's all he has at the moment.
Get every
He's great,
single
though.
second you can. The off season's long.
in any event, it was an amazing night. There was one moment. What makes it all that much better is that the Knicks have really embraced their legends, and my favorite athlete of all time is Patrick Ewing, and he's sitting there, and my kids find his attire very funny because he kind of dresses like an older guy with the hat and the shirt and all that stuff. And at one moment, Landry hits a three, I think, and they show Pat. Pat doesn't even get up. His knees are so beat up, he can't even stand. And I was like, yes, Patrick, this is for you, Patrick. And my kids are like, they're like, oh, Unc just tapped into his youth there with that scream. Jeez, I yelled so loud that the alarm went off in our house.
Are you just
and woke
Unc
up everyone
now? Like
they call me
that's
Unc.
all they call you?
They call me Unc. Yeah,
Just Unc.
Is that just to be like you old ass?
100%.
How wild did you go?
No dad at all?
I went
Just
nuts.
Unc.
Wife came down like, what's going on here? This is the greatest comeback. Can you keep it down? Claire's sleeping. No, I can't keep it down.
Wake her up.
I'm trying. Yes, I am full on Unc to them. Even in our group chat, I spell people PPL, and they think that I'm trying to do that to be cool. Since when did PPL? I'm just trying to write.
It's not.
It's not.
You never drop PPL to any of us, though.
That-
You were
no,
definitely trying to be cool.
I'm not trying to be cool. I hit them with an HK and an LK. Didn't go off well. Didn't go off well. I had to explain what it meant.
Shit, it did it.
Me and my brother had a phase in our early teenage years where we called our dad Big Dog or by his first name, Wendell. Never called him Dad.
Wendell's an amazing name, by the way. I love
good.
names that start with W. I don't know how I'd feel with them. I'm cool with Big Dog. I'm cool with Unc. First name, I don't know about that.
What?
With that,
It wasn't a long-lived
shaft.
phase.
If your kids, Rick, if your kids called you Eric, you'd be okay with that?
Think about like how cool it is when Arnold Allen's talking about Pacer. You know, like it's like it's cool.
Yo,
it can be.
My nieces and nephews, they like the nickname is Uncle C. They think it's hilarious to call me Connor. They think they're like breaking the rules by doing that. I'm just like, it's all good.
I would think it's weird because my kids don't call me that and have not called me that. If they all of a sudden switch to it, it'd feel weird. But I'm down for it. It's all good.
Yeah, the chat is telling me, by the way, that PPL is okay. So
I'm fine with PPL.
Yeah.
Show the lads that. Screenshot that. Show the lads.
Number 2.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna love that.
MORO.
No, I don't do that. That's crazy. That's too much. But PPL is old school, if you ask me.
Can I tell you-
This is like
Yes,
old
yes.
school texting.
My dad's nickname to my friends is Shaft after the Black Detective movie.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. You know who's in that movie, by the way? Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, of course.
AKA?
Beautiful song.
Ade Oladipo.
I thought you were gonna
I
say
actually saw the movie and thought Ade got into acting.
That's
I thought you were gonna
Well,
say
when I
the Sam
explained to you-
Jackson remake one.
The reason why they did this is because he bought a used car once, and it was a small Ford Fiesta, but it was purple, like the guy had in the film. So they just call him Shaft all the time.
Oh my God.
He's still
great.
saved on my phone as Shaft, like all these years later. Fantastic.
Wait, he's in your phone? As
Yeah,
Shaft?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Fantastic.
Holy shit. That is incredible. I
Shout
never
out to
knew that.
Shaft.
Shout out to
complicated man.
Shaft. Shout out to sports. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to the legends. If they do it and those guys get a ring or something, I don't know what I would do with myself. And shout out to the Arsenal fans. I am happy for you guys. Congratulations. Those scenes were actually pretty amazing. So well done. Congratulations. Okay, we haven't even talked about today's show because there's just so much going on in our lives. I do want to tell you who's going to be on today's program. In about 6 minutes' time, we're going to be joined by the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, co-founder of MVP as well. You may have heard about MVP over the last few days. Quite the topic of discussion. Golly. Anyway, Nakisa Bidarian is going to come on to talk to us about obviously their debut on Netflix as far as MMA is concerned. It has come and gone. And just as we were wrapping up yesterday's program, we found out how it did. In short, over 12.4 million viewers on average tuned in. It peaked at 17 million. That's globally. In the United States alone, it averaged 9.3 million. It peaked at 11.6 million during the main event. 410 million impressions across MVP's social channels and a live gate of about 2.2 million. So we're going to talk to Nakisa Bidarian about all of that and more. He'll join us at about 1:30. After that, we're going to be joined by Alistair Overeem, our old friend, the Reem. Just actually celebrated his birthday 2 days ago. And some of you may recall that 16 years ago on this program, we celebrated his birthday. It was actually amazingly in this building, on this floor. It was called a different show at the time, the MMA Hour. By the way, speaking of the MMA Hour, to all the people out there on Twitter, I don't care if you clip off the show. I really don't. Clip off all you want. I never report it. Do what you want. But could we get the name right? Like, you guys keep calling it the MMA Hour. I feel like it's deliberate at this point. I feel like you're actually doing it on purpose. It's called the Ariel Helwani Show. The website is called Uncrown. We are in partnership with Yahoo Sports. Why are we playing around with this? Like, if you're
not helping yourself here. They're going to just double down now.
Damn it.
Yeah, you should have said it.
Actually, the funniest part about that is when we were doing the MMA Hour, people would casually be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going on Ariel today. I'm doing Ariel's show." They wouldn't call it the MMA Hour.
It's very
now it's
weird.
actually the Ariel Helwani Show, and they call it the MMA Hour.
It's a weird thing. I saw it a lot yesterday for some reason, and there's no, like, if you just even look at the clip, it doesn't even say the MMA Hour. In any event, Alistair Overeem is going to join us. Why? Because he's in Egypt ahead of that big Rico Verhoeven versus Alexander Usyk fight, or maybe it's Usyk versus Verhoeven, which is now just 3 short days away. So stay tuned for that. Nico Ali Walsh is going to join us as well. He is the grandson of Muhammad Ali. And he has been trying to fight the battle of keeping the Ali Act intact. He was at the Senate hearing just a few weeks ago, fighting on behalf of it. He's a boxer in his own right, and I'm really looking forward to having him in. And then we will round out today's interviews with Phumi Nkuta, Phumi Nkuta, golly, Turbo, who fought on Saturday on the MVP card, and I think should have won that fight against Adriano Moraes, but unfortunately did not win the fight. He went for it in the final seconds, probably didn't need to, and then eventually got submitted. We had Herb Dean on the show on Monday talking about the decision to call it a technical sub and not go to the scorecards. A crazy turn of events for a guy who has been scratching and clawing his way to a fight like this. He has wanted an opportunity like this. He has never gotten an opportunity like this, was undefeated heading into this fight, and now is trying to figure out where he goes from here. By the way, he's also a pro wrestler. He wrestles for House of Glory, which our own Jason Solomon, new episode of Uncrowned Wrestling. The Uncrowned Wrestling Show is out right now, wherever you get your podcast. The Solomonster is actually the commissioner of House of Glory, and Phumi wrestles for them, including this weekend. How about that? So yesterday I was listening to the Uncrowned Wrestling Show on my way home, which is a tremendous listen, and Solomonster is talking all about this fight. I'm like, why is he talking about the Phumi Nkuta fight? And then all of a sudden, come to find out, Phumi actually wrestles for House of Glory. How about that? It's a crazy thing. So that's our show. In case you're wondering, no OTN today because it was yesterday. We had OTN yesterday. We had a late scratch. I did see Ryan Garcia at the Knicks game. He seemed to be okay.
Miraculous recovery, thank God.
Yeah. I saw him going back and forth with our boy Canobio there. Anyway, I hope he I hope he's feeling better, and hopefully one of these days we can touch base with him. By the way, I did want to mention, speaking of that Rico Verhoeven versus Alexander Usyk fight, we saw yesterday that the WBC, and this is pertinent to Nico Ali Walsh, they are introducing a title. They are bringing out a title, a new title for this. And so when they go to these hearings and they talk about there's like 900 titles out there, a lot of them, a percentage of them are these sort of ceremonial belts, which are funky, no doubt about it, and unnecessary in my opinion. but the WBC in particular likes to do it. Anyway, for this particular fight that is happening over in Egypt, in front of the pyramids, they are introducing a special edition, a commemorative belt, if you will. Here's Mauricio Suleiman talking about it all.
Well, this is the King of the Nile belt for the historic night at the pyramids of Egypt. First time ever, and perhaps only time we were going to see an event like this happen. And it has all the elements from the eye in the sky and everything that has to do with the history of this rich country, millennial country of Egypt.
PT, your thoughts on the King of the Nile belt?
Load of bollocks, to be honest. That is. It looks like a child's project, like they're doing in Egypt in school, and I made this. Look at all the hieroglyphs on it, mate.
Why do they keep doing this with these belts? I don't know.
They're not doing themselves any favors.
No.
No.
Also, those belts aren't cheap. I'm not saying they cost $5,000, but
I reckon Turkey has a few quid.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's all very weird. It's all very weird because on the one hand, he's in business with Zuffa Boxing, who wants nothing to do with these people. And then on the other hand, they're promoting this event in which extra belts are being made to commemorate the event. In any event, there you have it. And we'll talk to Alistair Overeem about it all in about 30 minutes time. All right, let's kick things off as far as our interviews are concerned. And very excited to talk to this man. He had a very busy week last week in Los Angeles. Obviously a busy Saturday night as well. The very first MVP MMA event, period. The very first MMA event on Netflix. The very first MVP MMA event on Netflix. And it has been the source of a lot of chatter ever since. All throughout Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and still till this day, mid-Wednesday, May 20th, people are still hotly debating this thing. It's unbelievable. The vitriol, the takes, the debates, the division, the pros, the cons, all that and more. Let's talk to the man who put it on, as well as his partner, Jake Paul, Mr. Nakisa Bidarian. Kind enough to join us right here and now. Hello, Nakisa. How are you? It's great to have you back on the show. Can I just ask off the bat, and congratulations to you and the whole team, of course, and we'll get into the numbers and the success of the show and all that stuff. Are you surprised at all the chatter? Because you have put on events that have generated chatter. I don't know if it's created this kind of division. Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment. Are you surprised at how much chatter, how much debate your event on Saturday generated?
Well, good to see you, Ariel, and thank you for having me. Not surprised given where MMA started, right? I always speak to this within our team, with our partners. MMA started on the internet because it wasn't embraced in traditional media. And as such, I still think there's a very consistent online audience that debates every single thing, good, bad, indifferent, about the sport on X, on social media. And so not surprised. And I think it just means that we had great impact, right? If it was something that just didn't land, there would be no discussion, but it landed pretty well.
Do you view all chatter as good chatter, or do you get worked up when you feel like certain things are being painted in a certain light that you don't agree with?
I don't get worked up. Some of the things I find ridiculous, right? My wife said to me, she saw a comment where it said MVP had photoshopped fans into the stands in their photos. And it's just like, how moronic do you have to be to think that's what's happening? That yes, we're partners with Netflix and we're photoshopping fans in the seats to make it seem like it was busier than it was. It's that kind of stuff just kind of makes you pause and realize there's a lot of not too intelligent people in the world.
By the way, speaking of that, not necessarily where I was going to start, but since you brought it up, how do you feel? Because I will be honest, I kept seeing people say there's no one in the stands, and I was there, and I saw a ton of people. I saw it full by the time the main event happened, but I did go and watch it afterwards, and those lights on the seats do create an illusion where it seems like no one is sitting in the seat. In retrospect, and to be clear, that's an Intuit Dome thing. That's not a you thing or a Netflix thing. I don't even know if you can turn those off or if it's a part of the show.
You definitely can turn them off, but I mean, I think the cinematography that it creates is much more important than people without knowledge of what's actually happening in venue talking about there's no fans there. That doesn't bother us. The reality is we sold about 11,300 tickets, over $2.2 million in gate. And we had veterans and different, police force, firemen in attendance as well. If you look at Ronda's first event at the Honda Center, I think the gate was 1.2 million, right? The first ever UFC women's headlined event did 1.2 million. We did 2.2 million for the first ever MVP MMA event with Ronda Rousey, who people were saying is way past her prime, with Gina Carano, who people are saying is way past her prime, with Francis Ngannou, who people were saying he doesn't sell, with Nate Diaz saying he's way past his relevancy. We're very happy with the outcome on the live gate side.
Okay. Let's talk about the numbers, because those were the ones that everyone was waiting on. We got them yesterday afternoon. In short, I read them at the top of the show. There's the graphic courtesy of you guys over at MVP. Over 12.4 million viewers on average around the world tuned in live on Netflix. The viewership peaked at almost 17 million during the main event. In the U.S. alone, 9.3 million viewers on average, peaking at 11.6 million viewers during the main event. Your reaction when you got the news of these numbers?
Delighted, particularly with the averages, right? To average over 9 million viewers in the US alone for the triple main event is pretty remarkable. Going into it, both Jake and I were kind of landing on 20 million as peak viewership. So we got close. We didn't quite hit it, but it was the first time that we're doing this on Netflix in a space where there's a clear number one brand in UFC, right? When you have these big events in boxing, it's never brand driven, it's fighter driven. Here we came into a sport where there's an NFL within that sport, and that's the UFC. And we were able to perform as well, if not better than anything they've ever done on US television. And that is very satisfying.
There's a case to be made if the main event goes into the second round, you very well could have hit that 20 million number. What was your reaction when you saw it last just 17 seconds?
Ronda's back, right? Like the fact that people are speaking about, oh, that must have been fixed. How did that happen? One, you definitely don't know the history of Ronda Rousey. Two, if you're going to fix something, you certainly wouldn't do it to last 17 seconds. And three, it just speaks to the beauty of the sport and the unexpected. Of course, ourselves and Netflix would have liked the fights to last a little bit longer at that point. That only builds viewership. But that's the unexpected nature of anything that can happen within MMA. And that's a wonderful thing. And that's what keeps fans on the edge of their seats.
I saw a clip from someone who I respect very much, veteran of the broadcast game, Jim Rome, use words like circus, spectacle. You played everyone, talking about Gina and Ronda in particular, worked the system. I'm wondering if you saw that clip in particular and other chatter like that where it seemed like people were very upset with how that fight played out.
I didn't, but I guess, Conor McGregor worked the system when he beat Jose Aldo as quickly as he did, or Ronda Rousey, when her 3 other finishes under 35 seconds, worked the system. Or when a fighter comes out and knocks someone out in boxing in one round, I guess they work the system. It just speaks to a lack of understanding of the sport. Similar to, I think I saw some blurb about Mark Shapiro saying, oh yeah, not good for the sport. We knew it wouldn't last 20 seconds. The entire UFC Ronda Rousey train was built on quick finishes, right? She was the biggest pay-per-view star in the sport based on quick finishes. UFC offered her a certain amount of money to do the fight. It just wasn't enough. They didn't want to hit the margin profile. But to come out and say bad for the sport, what's bad for the sport is not paying the fighters. What's bad for the sport is not paying attention enough to give Conor McGregor his due moment after 5 years of not being in the cage, in the octagon, and you announce him on an Instagram Live. That's bad for the sport, not what we did. What we did is tremendous for the sport.
Were you surprised when you heard his comments and the way he painted it? We've heard the backstory from Ronda, from you, from a lot of other people involved, and he essentially said we weren't interested. We had a chat about it and we passed because we didn't think that this was the best representation of the sport. We're in the weekly MMA business, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's the general sentiment. Were you surprised that he positioned it that way?
No, I mean, he's talking to an audience that's not sophisticated when it comes to the fight game, and he's selling a narrative for his investors because he's worried about the stock price, which he has share ownership in. So that doesn't surprise me. I think in some ways it's expected. I will also say we are not in competition with the UFC. That was our first event. Judge us versus Zuffa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Judge us versus UFC 30 in Atlantic City, which was the first event that Dana White oversaw as, the president of the UFC. We're 4.5 years in. That was our first MMA event. Tell me another organization who's entered a sport with a strong existing player and delivered what we did with Netflix and the fighters. No one. Look at NFL. The Rock is a pretty globally world-renowned athlete, celebrity, influencer. He created the XFL. The XFL's peak viewership in its history was on ABC, I think at 2.3 million. So I think that's like 15% of the average viewership of an NFL game, of a standard NFL game. The Fox broadcast of the Tom Brady flag football, which is something that I think has a lot of legs, flag football as a sport. But they had Tom Brady, 30 other current and former NFL athletes, massive influencers like IShowSpeed, a crossover star in Logan Paul, and they delivered 650,000 viewers on a Fox broadcast television airing. So whether we are the same, slightly below, or slightly above anything UFC has ever done in the US, just that we're in that vicinity is very impressive. Of course, now the onus is on us to show that it's repeatable and can become consistent. But we're not fools. We're not in competition with the 800-pound gorilla that's the UFC. But do we believe there's a path for us to become a relevant player within MMA? Of course.
So let's stay there if we can. I asked you this a million times leading up to it. If it's one and done, or you're going to keep on keeping on with MMA. And you did seem towards the end, as we got closer to fight night, suggest that you're in the MMA business, but also did say that a lot of it hinged on how Saturday night did. And so now can you definitively say on the Wednesday after the event, MVP is in the MMA business?
100% MVP is in the MMA business. There's a clear opportunity to create an alternative avenue for fighters that truly represents the best of the sport and is fighters first. Our hope is that's with our partners at Netflix, but we've been very fortunate with the outreach we've gotten around what we did and what we accomplished and what we delivered. And we're now looking at all strategic alternatives to implement our strategy.
And so when you say that, because I read the press release, obviously, and the last line really caught my attention. We are currently reviewing all strategic options to do something very meaningful within MMA on a go-forward basis with a distribution partner like Netflix that shares our vision to create lasting impact, as opposed to with Netflix. And so as of right now, would it be fair to say you don't have that commitment from Netflix to say, hey, we're in this with you guys, we're going to do it for X amount of shows for the next X amount of years?
We haven't even had the discussion yet, to be honest, right? We're long-term partners with Netflix. We've done things that are unimaginable for a company of our size. Paul Tyson is the most streamed sporting event in the history of the world. Paul Tyson is the most viewed boxing event since the days of Muhammad Ali. We then did Taylor Serrano 3 all-women's card, most viewed women's MMA or boxing card in history. Jake Joshua, 33 million viewers. And now to do this and set a record in the US, there's obviously great synergies between our organizations. Some people will say, well, sure, it's on Netflix. Of course it's going to do great. I would point them to, one, Netflix is amazing, two, greatest platform, but it has to be more than that. Netflix had the season opener for Major League Baseball with the New York Yankees and the Giants. Amazing, big market teams. Look at that viewership. It was great. It was 3 million viewers, similar to what NBC Peacock did that week, and not a record-breaking night at the office, right? So it's not just, hey, put it on Netflix and it does great. There has to be great storytelling. There has to be a compelling product. And I believe our partnership is very unique in its ability to make outstanding things happen.
I recognize this is a more fair question to ask to a Netflix executive, but since you are here, what could you tell us about their reaction to the numbers and their interest in MMA going forward?
I think everyone was super excited by how the night unfolded and seeing the engagement of the fans, the excitement of the different finishes that were happening. and the pace of activity throughout the night. So I think we all really enjoyed it. And for me, I hadn't been to an MMA event. As an employee of the UFC, my last event was our first New York event, right? Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez. And as a fan, I went to the Conor McGregor Khabib fight. Hadn't been to an MMA event of that scale since. So it was great to sit there and really take it all in. And having been ingrained in boxing now for 4.5 years, reminding myself that close up how different the two sports are in good and bad ways on both sides. And I think on a post-event basis, of course, Netflix is happy. How can you not be, right? To enter a sport with a unknown brand in MVP MMA, bringing back fighters that obviously have equity value, but in many people's eyes, not premium top tier fighters. The question is, if you put the White House card on Netflix, does it do as well as what we did on Saturday night? I don't believe it does, because I think the magic of it was with the names that we had, with the partnership of MVP and Netflix. That's what made it so powerful. And I think they're very happy with the outcome.
As you know, Netflix is, their thought process when it comes to live sports is they want big events, right? They have the opening day for MLB, Home Run Derby, the Field of Dreams. They're not doing a package of 50-something games. Same with fighting, same with everything that they're doing right now. And so even if MVP MMA continues, and it sounds like it will, it probably can't just continue with Netflix, right? There has to be another player, just like your MVPW events are on ESPN, and prior to that, DAZN as well. And so what could you tell us about your strategy as of right now, as far as how you would divvy this up, how many events per year, et cetera?
I would say we're still working on it, but I will say, similar to a WWE that's on Netflix every single week, I think for the right opportunity, the right product, there is the potential to do more than what you're saying. Boxing is more difficult to own than MMA. When I say own, obviously UFC is the reference brand. They're going to be the reference brand for many years to come. But there's no true number two player. Boxing, there's 6 or 7 of us putting on premium big events every single week. So do I think that we could come in and take real share within the MMA sphere? Yes. Do I believe that we can convince Netflix to do it on a more regular basis than they've shown to do so with boxing? I think if we have the product and we show them the path of how this can work and set expectations appropriately and ask for the right amount of rights fees that are appropriate for that, my hope is that the answer is yes. But I will say there's Amazon, there's Fox, there's ESPN, there's definitely other outlets that once we present them this whole package and what we've done here, will have interest in what we're doing.
In your opinion, what is that number? How many events would you want to put on?
I think it depends on the partner, right? But if I look at Netflix, I would love to be in a situation to have 12 events a year. 1 per month, effectively, would be the ideal scenario.
Do you feel like there are enough big names, stars, draws to put on that many events?
I mean, is there enough big names, stars, draws to put on 42 UFC events?
I'm asking the questions here, Nakisa, all right?
I know, but
the UFC is the brand. The UFC
every event isn't going to be Rousey Carano, but it's about having a consistent base that delivers a certain viewership number, right? The WWE delivers 2.5 million views on Netflix every single week, pretty consistently. What can we do that delivers a consistent level of ratings that is appropriate for the investment that your distribution partner is making? That's kind of the math that we have to figure out collectively with our distribution partner.
As I said at the top, a lot of people nitpicking everything. And I think to a degree, this is all expected and healthy. This is what happens when someone comes into the space that is new. One of the things that was brought up was the matchmaking. These were one-sided fights. These were squash matches, if you will. What is your response to the criticism of the matchmaking?
I'll say there were some great fights on the card that didn't last one round. I will say that when you have extraordinary talents coming into the cage, that unbelievable things can happen. Of course, the Ronda Gina outcome for me was very expected, right? That's what Ronda Rousey does. Now, that I think that Gina Carano could, do something that would negate that, absolutely. There's a former MMA fighter who never, what's Matt Brown. Mm-hmm. Matt Brown was going into this fight saying a lot of negative things, but was very clear that Gina Carano was going to win. Post-fight, very clear that it was all a hoax and we were sold, and Ronda Rousey was always going to do this. I have messages from Vitor Belfort, from Karate Hottie, from Dan Henderson. We've put them up saying Gina Carano was going to win. There was many within the MMA community that thought Gina was going to win. Ronda just did what she's best at doing and implemented it and did it in 17 seconds, and we got 17 million viewers. In terms of the Nate and Mike fight, I think we all were surprised it stopped when it did, and I would love to see that rematch. Francis against Philippe Lins, was that one-sided? No, I thought it was a tough battle for Philippe, and I thought he hung in there, and Francis caught him with a perfect shot to the top of the head that resulted in that knockout. But I thought he performed very well. And then, I look at the other two main fights on the card, Saladin versus Ken Cross. Saladin's a special talent. And with JDS versus Big Boy Robles, that fight could have ended that way either way. It was about who caught who first. And Robles caught JDS.
Earlier this morning, Mike Perry tweeted, they're really talking about this rematch, and I'm assuming the they is you guys. And so what could you tell us about these quote-unquote talks?
I think their respective teams have gotten aligned that they would like to do it. I think from our perspective, we think that's a great headline event. We haven't advanced the ball more than that. I think Nate needs a little bit of time to recover, and then we'll get together and figure out what's the right strategy. But I think they both deserve that rematch. I don't think Mike wanted the fight to end that way.
Has anyone been signed post Saturday? Are there any fighters under contract with MVP MMA as of right now?
No, but Namo Fazil seems to be under contract with UFC post Saturday.
So what do you make of that? Because I thought he was one of the stars of the week, I'll be honest. Like, press conference, he was incredible. Fight was incredible. Even the thing with Armin.
I thought he was a little over the top at the press conference. Like, parts were great, but parts were way too drawn out.
Sure.
But he obviously is a charismatic guy, and to his team's credit, they told us he was that, and I believed them, and that's why I ended up moving them to the main of the prelims. He delivered. Jake Babian delivered. And what I thought was remarkable was how calm Namo was in that first round when he was obviously potentially in trouble with Jake on his back, but he never got nervous, right? Never got out of sorts and fought his way out of it, and obviously got the finish in the second round. So I make of it that, listen, this guy obviously deserves a great opportunity, and if he wants to go to the UFC, we fully support that. Like, chase your dreams, make it happen.
Okay, so there was no talk of that beforehand, though. Like, was that news to you, or did you know about it?
That was news to me, yes.
Okay. What about Ronda, though? Because I'll be honest, as I said to her, I want to see more of her. And you have a young lady fighting May 30th, next weekend, in El Paso, Texas, in the main event, in the sport of boxing, but who obviously has a history with her, Holly Holm, Stephanie Hahn, too. It's going down next weekend. There it is on ESPN, and I'll ask you more about it in a moment. But like I said yesterday, I feel like Holly Holm in the year 2026 is actually in pole position for two mega fights if all goes well for her next Saturday.
I would say three big fights. Okay. One is Katie Taylor.
Well, what's the third then?
Gina Carano.
Okay.
Gina Carano deserves a lot more than what happened last Saturday night, right? And going into this, I said this to the people closest to me. My biggest fear for Gina was she'd worked so hard to get to where she'd gotten to, but she hadn't had the opportunity to work hard at where she'd gotten to, right? So it was a process to retransform back to the fighter that she was. But by the time she got there, it was a few weeks away from fight night. Now she's a fighter again. Give her a full camp as a fighter, not as someone who's becoming a fighter again. And I think you'll see who she really is, and I hope she considers doing at least one more with us. In terms of Ronda, I think she's been very vocal, very clear, very transparent. This was one and done for her. We haven't heard anything different, nor am I aggressively trying to convince her differently, because you never want money, for example, to be the reason someone does something. And I don't think that's how she's motivated at all.
Will you try, though? At some point, will you try? Will you bring it up to her?
I've brought it up to her and she's told me she's not interested. So I've kind of left it at that. Now, maybe one day she wakes up and says, you know what, let's do this. Maybe she sees Holly Holm on May 30th live on ESPN and says, I want to get that back. I don't know, but that's up to her.
And so do you think, like, you know, I'm not taking this to the bank necessarily, won't hold you to it, but do you think Gina fights again?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think she's really, in her own words, flies like a bird and is free-spirited and will come to a perspective at some point. I believe she should. I believe the journey's not done. And by the way, how loved was she throughout this process? She captured like so much attention, so many eyeballs that people were fascinated by her story, by her character, by her personality. I hope that's not the last of Gina Carano.
Perfect world for you. When's the second event?
Obviously, you know, later this year or early next year.
And with regards to Jake, earlier in the week, he tells us leaning towards maybe not fighting again, being told probably be in his best interest. And then, of course, he says $200 million for Canelo, and now flirting with an MMA fight idea. I saw you tweeting about it as well. What do you make of the state of his career right now? Do you think he fights again? Do you think he fights again this year?
So he saw his doctors on Wednesday, all very positive. They said sparring in like 2 months. And I said this post when he made the statement around maybe never fighting again. Who knows what happens when he goes in the ring, right? Maybe he gets hit really hard and the jaw re-breaks or gets fractured and he has to take more time off. I made this example, I think, to you. Conor hasn't fought for 5 years. It hasn't stopped the interest or the conversation. I wish they would have announced it on Monday, given him his own big moment that he deserves and not on an Instagram live. Like it's just some throwaway announcement. The biggest star in the sport is coming back, right? Like he could have a very, very well done return of Conor McGregor moment. Didn't happen for some reason. But going back to Jake, whether I expect him to fight at the end of this year, absolutely. But that's TBD. I don't know what happens when he gets hit in the face in sparring. That's the real tell-all.
Did you view that IG announcement as a sort of tip of the cap? Like, hey, they're doing this because we're on, they're doing this because Francis is walking. I don't think any of that was a coincidence. Did you view that as a sort of sign of respect?
No, I viewed it as just confusing. Like, why would you do that during what is clearly a massive event in sports, not just in MMA, but in sports? Like, what is the objective? Was it because you didn't want people to really pay attention to Conor McGregor coming back? Or was there some criticism you were expecting because the opponent, you know, fights at 145 or 155 and Conor's walking around at 185? Like, honestly, it made no sense to me. I expected it. I saw all the chatter all week long and I felt bad for Conor. Like, I'm so happy he's back. That's the biggest personality the sport has ever had. The number one revenue driver the sport has ever had. So great for the business, great for UFC, great for fans. Give him his own moment. Give him a big announcement. Have him there. Do a press conference. Do something. I didn't see the announcement, but what I'm told, it was an Instagram live with like AirPods or Samsung AirPods. I don't know.
I think he has 2 fights left on his deal, that being one of 2. Do the wheels start turning there for you now that you're in the MMA business?
If the day comes that Conor McGregor is a free agent, we will do everything in our power to work with him. And that's to work with him to do his own events. That's to work with him to fight Jake Paul in boxing and MMA. That's to try to make Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz and ensure they get the vast majority of the revenue. Conor's biggest payday of his career, by far, is fighting Floyd Mayweather. The one time he wasn't within the framework and pay system of his current employer. I know he knows that, and I know he knows the power that he has as a brand, and I hope we're able to help him, you know, in that one day if and when he's a free agent.
We're rounding third here, but I do want to ask you about what happened with Clarissa Shields and Alicia Baumgartner. Bit of an ugly scene, and MVP has since come out and said that Clarissa is banned from attending MVP events. And not that long ago, there were some talks about her fighting on an MVP card or, being co-promoted or something like that. And so what could you tell us about what happened and the aftermath? Is this a lifetime ban? Are you saying you don't want to ever work with Clarissa, or is this something that can be fixed? What can you tell us about this?
I would say we worked very hard to try to convince Clarissa to sign to MVP. And I think she was pretty open that we did a great job in terms of how we presented to her, in terms of the opportunity. But, she called me one day and said, I'm getting a $3 million offer to sign to Salida and Win Records. And I said, great. Like, I can't justify that number. You should 100% do that. Congratulations. You've set a new bar for a signing bonus within women's sports. Since then, we've worked hard to develop a great relationship, and we've had very positive communication, in-person meetings, just like great understanding between us. I had not talked to Clarissa since the Shadeja Green fight. She reached out to me posted, but I thought she was very disrespectful in terms of the way that she was communicating online when a fighter that I cared deeply about, but just any fighter, was on the floor unconscious, being rushed in an ambulance to the hospital, and ultimately had a brain injury. That was not cool, and it really made me think maybe Clarissa and I have gotten too close. I didn't see Clarissa on Saturday night. I did hear about what happened after it happened. She was a guest of the event, and she was a guest in a Netflix specific VIP invite only area. And for that to happen reflects poorly on MVP, reflects poorly on women's sports, on sports as a whole. And there's no doubt there was a back and forth conversation between her and Alicia. But nobody raised a hand other than Clarissa. So for us, I would have hoped she would have come out with an apology, but she didn't. She actually texted me that night and said, I had a great time. Thank you so much. I didn't respond, confused that what had happened, and that was the text that I'd gotten. And I'm disappointed that this is what has had to have happened. But if you're gonna conduct yourself that way in a non-fight week setting, I've seen a lot of people be like, you didn't ban Mike Tyson when he slapped Jake Paul. They're about to fight. No, we're not going to ban Mike Tyson. The commission may have. The commission may step in and say, you're going to get fined. But we certainly don't ban fighters for having animosity towards each other during fight week. That's why if you saw a release, it says there's a time and place for the banter and for the hostilities. At a press conference even, right? Sometimes that's what helps sell the fight. There was no fight here. There was a bunch of celebrities, athletes, influencers, Netflix executives, MVP employees, and something happened that shouldn't have happened. And I hope Clarissa takes responsibility for it. And there's a path to having her at our events again. She's one of the greatest boxers of all time in terms of a talent. And it's a shame that this has transpired.
Very last thing, May 30th, El Paso. Why should people watch?
It's 4 back-to-back world championships again. You have, some of the top pound-for-pound athletes in the world in Amanda Serrano and Yokasta Valle fighting. You obviously have the rematch between Stephanie and Holly, and very likely the winner of that fight could be facing Katie Taylor. And you have Desley Robinson versus Mary Spencer also fighting for a belt. It's going to be action-packed, exciting, as you would expect for MVPW. Live on ESPN, 9 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, May 30th. A sold-out event, by the way, Ariel. Sold-out event.
Really sold out or fake sold out? Like Photoshop sold out or real sold out?
7,000 tickets. I mean, look, we still have 460 tickets to sell, but it will be a fully sold-out event. It's going to be an unbelievable environment. 44% of the ticket purchasers so far are women. And
wow.
I'm so proud of that. The fact that women are supporting this event and MVPW events. Even Saturday night, there was a lot of women in that crowd. And that's part of our strategy is, yes, we want to meet the hardcore boxing fan or MMA fan, but we also want to meet the women's sports fans, right? That's a whole different audience. And we feel like we have been making great progress in doing that.
Well done. Thank you, Nakisa. Congratulations to you and the team. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate you.
There he is, Nakisa Bidarian, the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, co-founder as well. Some good news if you are hoping that they stay in the MMA business. All right, let us move along to our next guest. Joining us live, I do believe from Egypt, site of Saturday's mega event, if you will, a once-in-a-lifetime event at the Pyramids. It's going to be Alexander Usyk against Rico Verhoeven. He knows a thing or two about Mr. Verhoeven, and always great to catch up with my old friend, the Reem. Is he there? The Demolition Man, Alistair Overeem. Let us say hello to the man himself. Hello, Alistair. How are you?
Here.
How's everything?
Good. See you again, Ariel, my good old buddy.
My old friend. And Alistair, before we begin, I do have to say, a happy belated birthday to you just a couple of days ago, right?
Much? 46 years young?
It's crazy. You know, I view time based on your birthday because your birthday was one of the most famous moments in the history of my show. Goodbye 20 Hello Ferdy. 16 years ago, you were on the program, Alistair, celebrating your birthday. We're getting old, aren't we?
Time is flying. But isn't that beautiful? Look at this.
Look at us. The birthday.
And look how skinny you were.
I know, Alistair. Hey, I mean, you got skinny now too. I took your weight and you became me.
Very true. Very true.
Well, it's great to see you and I hope life is treating you well. Are you actually in Egypt right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not too far away from the pyramids and lovely here.
I want to ask you about the event in a moment, but just because I was talking to Nakisa, did you watch, you know, you're so tied to MMA, did you watch that MVP MMA event on Netflix?
I saw some of the fights, but I saw them replay.
Any part of you look at that and say, an alternative here? Maybe I come out, maybe I fight? What do you think?
Well, body feels great. I actually did a couple half marathons. And I actually I liked it. Liked to kind of be in the limelight. I liked to kind of perform again. I liked also the lead up to the marathon, which was, you need to have your supplements on point, your recovery on point, your sleep. So who knows? Let's take it easy. Let's go slow. Let's not forget I am 46. But the landscape is interesting at the moment, I have to admit.
Do you get that itch? Do you start to get that feeling again, like you want to go through a training camp, you want to have a fight, something to work towards?
Well, it does give energy. Training camps give energy, right? And not even the training camps, but also the target objective, just to have like a target on the horizon. I've missed it, to be honest, but again, let's not go too quick. I did a couple of half marathons. My body is feeling great. The time off was amazing. I actually found longevity. Been pushing that, ice baths, massages, yoga, the whole shebang. Body feels great. So who knows? Let's see what happens.
Any chance you'll do a full marathon?
No, not at the moment. I'll get that done, but not right now.
Okay. You've become like somewhat like of a wellness guru, I feel like. Every time I see you doing something, it's something involving health and wellness. Is this like the main thing in your life right now?
Well, I just found the longevity, and of course, exercise is a huge part of it, as well as the hot and cold plunges. There's so much to do on that field, right? And to be honest, I did get completely motivated and very creative into this. So definitely it's a passion of mine. But let's not forget, my career was very long, right? 25 years. So there was longevity also applied there. And the time off of fighting, and also the injury which brought me out of fighting, which took me out of fighting, which kind of pushed me into the longevity sphere totally. And yeah, loving it, enjoying it. And there's a lot to do there.
As far as you being in Egypt this weekend for this fight, are you just there as a spectator? Are you an invited guest? What is your position, your role over there?
I'm actually an analyst because Rico is now venturing in the boxing world. Very exciting for this matchup, first of all. But of course, the world doesn't know Rico. So I, of course, was scheduled to fight him on 2 or 3 occasions. So I'm there to give some backstory on Rico. What is he about? Where does he come from? What is his resume? The boxing world doesn't know him, and as you know, there's mention of a mismatch here. I think personally it is a beautiful match, even though people are not familiar with Rico. But I think him coming from the kickboxing world, being a dominant champion for 12 years, I think this is a beautiful match and a beautiful test. And for both gentlemen, I think Rico's putting a lot on the line by fighting the best, and then Usyk is also putting a lot on the line, although it is going to be on his terms. But I think it's an exciting matchup. And let's not forget, I did the same, right? I did the same 16 years ago. I went into the K1 and I became champion. So miracles do exist, and let's see if Rico can pull that off.
That was an incredible time. And by the way, I didn't know that you were going to be an analyst. This is a great thing. So you'll be working on the DAZN broadcast?
Yep.
I love this. I mean, who better than you? Okay, this is tremendous. And so when you say beautiful, you don't often hear that term used to describe a fight. Do you say it's beautiful because you love the fact that he's getting this opportunity and Usyk's kind of testing himself? Or is there something intriguing about the fight itself that makes you call it that?
Well, it's what you just mentioned. Usyk is giving him a chance. I believe he was first going to fight AJ. AJ had an accident, so that fight was off. So on the one hand, Rico has been a very dominant champion, so there's no more challenges for him in the kickboxing. So he had to make a move, right? He had to do something because the kind of kickboxing is, sorry to say, but it's a little bit finished. So he had to do something, and then the jump into MMA. I think being a kickboxer is very big. I believe he had a fight offered against Fres Ngannou. I do not think that's a good idea for him. So what else is then left? It would be the boxing. And let it be that he was training with the Furies for 15 years, right? That was why he excelled in the kickboxing in the first place. So he kind of knows a thing or two about boxing. He has the long-standing relationship with the coaches. Obviously, he's battle tested. He's doing it, so I think it's beautiful for him. I think there's not much to lose, right? Only to gain, and he is venturing in a different world and a bigger world, right? Boxing world is huge.
Were you surprised that Usyk did this?
The way I see Usyk is as a gigantic code breaker. So he is somebody who just deciphers people and breaks codes. And he just sees Rico as, hey, this is like an unknown code. Big gentleman, 125 kg. So there's like a weight advantage there. He is undefeated. So it's like a nice resume. And let's just see how I can break this code under these boxing rules set, given the, 10 rounds or 12 rounds. And the X factor, I think, is what makes this fight beautiful, because Rico is... he is battle tested, motivation is good, but still there's an X factor. We have never seen him box. So I think that is the beauty of this fight. We're going to see how both fighters will step up the gear, how they'll make adjustments. Obviously, they're both coming to win. So, and there's more to lose for Usyk, less to lose for Rico. So
100%.
I think it's overall, when you look at everything, it's cool.
I have heard you say that you feel like, to a degree, Rico has nothing to lose. But would you not agree also that if he goes out there and gets, just saying, like, embarrassed, outworked, outclassed, his stock does go down. His aura does go down, right? He's been undefeated for so long, and he's hoping to still keep on fighting. This isn't a retirement fight. There is an element of you could potentially get, and I'm saying this is the worst case scenario, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like embarrassed by someone who is, in many people's eyes, including myself, the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now.
So there's a big chance of him being embarrassed, but let's be honest, Usyk has embarrassed many fighters and outclassed many fighters. So for him, for his first fight to be outclassed by an Usyk is not a shame. And actually people are expecting that. So, and that is his goal, to kind of course, he's coming into this fight to win the fight, but even if he is able to just put on an exciting fight, he'll have done better than most. So again, there's not much to lose for him into this fight.
By the way, just as an aside, you've known him, as you said, for so long. You were supposed to fight a couple times. I believe you've even trained together. You've had training camps together. Why do you think? I know what happened at the very end, but even beforehand, you were so big in Holland. He was so big. Why did these fights never come to fruition?
he went to do a movie at one point. I got injured at another point. Then I got totally injured. Then I retired from fighting. What else happened? And basically, our timings missed because I was in the UFC. He was then doing the glory kickboxing. So it was just a timing thing.
Okay. There was a time not that long ago where we heard that the UFC had offered him a deal to fight Derek Lewis. I know MVP offered him to fight Francis Ngannou. How do you think he would do against these types of opponents in MMA?
I think against Francis, he would not make much of a chance, just basically because he's missing the wrestling and the submissions. He's just not training that, right? And it takes years to develop that, and it shouldn't be underestimated. And I think that he and his team have made a very wise choice to kind of stay out of MMA. Because you're just not going to catch up with that years of experience just like that in a training camp. And the Derek Lewis would be an interesting fight, but and at the moment the heavyweight division might be the heavyweight roster might be somewhat on the weaker side, but still you're tied out in UFC, and it wouldn't give him the flexibility. I think given Rico's resume, boxing was his best choice. Right, okay. He wants to go into the movies in a couple of years. He wants to make name for himself. Chances for him to get the UFC title, which would also give him the path to the movies, is slim because he just doesn't have the wrestling. Francis Ngannou is totally a no-go area. Stay away from that. So then it's boxing, right? Which I believe he's going to come with some moves. Training with Peter Fury, training with the Klitschko's, with Furies. I'm sorry. So it should be very well prepared. There's going to be a game plan. Cardio is going to be on point. Weight is on point. I'm excited for him.
So you think that he sticks around in boxing after this, regardless of what happens?
Yeah, because it's also about the options. How much options do you have? It's not like he can, just go into. I mean, he could go into UFC, and that would also be a very interesting path. But the success rate would be diminished.
I'm curious about your take on him versus Francis. Do you think it's strictly because we have seen Francis at times use his wrestling, even though he is known as a striker? Like if they just stood and trade the whole time, as was the case in Francis's last fight, do you think it's a different type of striking? Do you think that he would get worked by Francis in an MMA fight?
But why would Francis keep it on the feet with Rico?
I don't know. Ego? I don't know.
No, that's not what Francis does. Francis is clever. He's just going to win the fight, and it would not even be a difficult fight.
Okay, so then as far as this boxing match is concerned, how do you see it playing out?
I think both fighters will feel each other out in the beginning and try to set a rhythm, set up patterns. And from there, it's all about the adjustments. How are they going to go into round 2, round 3, round 4? At some moment, either or will accelerate. So it'll be curious to see how they're going to deal with that. Who's going to accelerate first? Who's going to counter first? Usyk being the smaller, the faster person, very well rounded, right? Southpaw, orthodox, beautiful fighter. So I'm very excited to kind of see how it kind of progresses. Also from the coaching standpoint, right? Both corners are also high level.
Sure. But you wouldn't be, just to be clear, you wouldn't be surprised if Rico pulls off the upset?
I'm inclined 80% Usyk, 20% Rico. I'm going to be realistic, right? Okay. This is Usyk's playground. Yes, there's a weight advantage for Rico. But this is Usyk's game, and but again, as a fight fan, there's a plan to beat Usyk, right? They're not gonna go in there to lose. So to me, it's interesting to kind of see his game plan and how he executes the game plan into this fight.
It's so curious seeing someone at his level in kickboxing make the transition over to just boxing. Obviously, we know what kind of a kickboxer he is. Do you think he will be, and he can't use those two big weapons? Do you think we're going to see a different kind of Rico, a different style, a different pace to him because he's now competing in a different type of striking fight? In other words, because the arsenal has now become a little bit more limited. We know who he is when he has the kicks to his advantage. We don't necessarily know who he is when he doesn't have the kicks. Do you think we're going to see anything different out of him?
Well, and what we also don't know is because basically what Rico did was he used the boxing footwork, the boxing stances, the boxing fakes in the kickboxing ring, and that is what gave him the victories in the kickboxing ring. What we have not seen is Rico in a boxing fight with somebody who's doing all those facets better than him. So to me, as a fight fan, that's what I'm very enthusiastic about, curious about also how he's going to deal with that. Somebody who's faster, who's kind of 2 steps ahead all the time. And has the potential to totally outclass it.
Have you seen where the fights are going to be held? Have you had a look yet?
We drove by, so I saw the pyramids in the distance, and I had been there 25 years ago, so I kind of know the layout. I don't know the layout of the arena, right? I don't know what they're going to do with the seatings and the walkout and the lights, but it's a beautiful location. Of course, Egypt, the pyramids, iconic. So very much looking forward to this weekend's fights.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like and how you'll be able to see the pyramids behind you like this. The whole location is so unique. Alistair, prior, just a few minutes ago, you mentioned something about the state of the heavyweight division. You were fighting when it was the real heyday of the heavyweight division, right? Between Pride and then the UFC, Strikeforce as well. Do you have a theory as to why the heavyweight division is so lacking these days, why it's so shallow? Do you think it's just a cyclical thing, or is there something else at play?
Well, it could be a cyclical thing, because what we see now is we see that the boxing is kind of making a return, also with Saudi Arabia, but also just exciting fights, exciting names. And then in MMA, kind of it decreased, and kickboxing totally decreased. So there's it's kind of always between those 3 sports, right? So yeah, I don't know. MMA will have to make a development. We'll have to do something. I don't see the sport dying out. UFC has done a great job elevating the sport, but something does need to be done to kind of make it exciting, because you kind of do see that it's kind of becoming less. If we consider also Jones, right? Also on the verge of he is already retired. I know back in the days there were like 10, 15, 20 heavyweights, and now there's maybe 4 or 5 names. So that's less.
And they were all incredible, some of the best fighters pound for pound in the world. John and Francis continue to talk about each other. John's obviously contractually tied. Who do you think would win that fight at heavyweight?
Very difficult to predict. I trained with John 4 years. We were in the same room. We didn't really train. Well, actually, sometimes we did. And super creative mind, super open, great mind. But then, on the other side, you look at Francis, and also just like a beast, right? Strong, last performance, impeccable, just one touch and he just finishes the fight. So it's very difficult to gauge the winner of that fight. Would love to see it. Do you think we're going to see it, Ariel?
No.
No, not.
I just don't think they're going to let him leave. I don't think they're going to co-promote. He signed a very long-term deal, 6 or so fights left. What's in it for the UFC to let him go fight someone else? I guess there could be a scenario where a Netflix says, here's $50 million. You let him cross the street for one fight. But you know how they are. They're not going to do it. They only did it once with Conor McGregor, and it was a different time. And so, unfortunately, there's so much more flexibility in boxing, believe it or not. Everyone loves to talk about how splintered boxing is and how many issues there are. But if a fight really, really, really has like a lot of juice behind it and there's a desire to make it happen, it happens. In our sport, it's not even a conversation, unfortunately.
No. Well, and it used to be better, but UFC just kind of cornered off the market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit frustrating. It's frustrating that these fights can't happen. Can I ask, how do you think Alex Pereira is going to do moving up from 205 to heavyweight?
That man is an enigma anyways, because, he's a kickboxer. So, have we ever seen him on the ground? Yeah, a little bit on his back, but, is he even training on the ground? So he's a little bit an X factor. you would, looking at him from the beginning, I wouldn't give him any wins, but apparently he's winning.
Like from the beginning, his entry into
Of course,
the
he's not
UFC.
turning ground. Like what ground skills does the man have? Doesn't have any ground skills. And now, of course, he's trained a little bit ground. But in my opinion, you need years of wrestling to kind of be able to deal with wrestlers from UFC. And he's just going in there, 6 months camp. Okay, we had the feud with Adesanya. Yeah, but not really tested on the ground, I think.
Wow, so all of this has surprised you. This legendary run of his has surprised you.
Yeah.
Wow, you didn't see it coming.
No.
And so, do you think he pulls it off against Gane?
Again, I would think absolutely not, but maybe he would. I don't know.
He continues to surprise. What about you, Alistair? I was thinking about you recently. You know why? Because I have a 14-year-old son now, and he was the last one in his grade to get a cell phone. We held off as long as possible. And he was the last one by like 2 years, Alistair. It was crazy. All his friends were getting it early, and I said no because I know the issues that come with it. And so I know this is a topic that is very near and dear to your heart. How is that, that mission, so to speak, going as far as trying to educate people about the dangers of being addicted to your phone?
Well, it's a prolonged project, right? I'm talking about it, and it is actually resonating with people left and right. But there's initiatives there, but I think it'll be another 12 months before it is going to really hit the storm.
Do you think that there's a world where there's, like in America, I can't buy alcohol until I'm 21. Do you think there'll be a world where there will be age limits attached to maybe not phones per se, but things that you could do on the phones, social media, et cetera, et cetera?
No, I think it's all in the user's abilities, but people need to understand how to use it, and if you know how to use it, it's fine, right?
Oh, yeah,
and a lot of people do. A lot of people do, but a lot of people also don't, and there lies the problem. And yeah.
All right, so you're going to be a part of this broadcast. Who else? Are there any other crossover stars, Alistair, that you'll be working with on Saturday? To your knowledge.
No crossover stars, but there's some other boxes in the broadcast.
Okay, this is very fun. I love that you're doing this. It's always great to catch up with you. Happy belated birthday. Also, I believe your 1-year anniversary is coming up?
Coming up, May 25.
Wow, a lot to celebrate. Look at this photo right here. This is something else.
Hey!
So
lucky me, right?
Well, your wife's standing on some sort of bed or something there, and it's at your knees, and she's like forehead to forehead. How tall is she?
163-ish centimeters.
And what are you?
So what is that? I'm 192-ish.
Wow. Wow. What a life, Alistair. You're living the dream.
Yeah. No, she's great. Very happy with her. Very happily married. 1-year anniversary coming up, 25th. So, yeah, I'll need to organize some nice dinner or something.
In Egypt?
No, we're going to go back to our hometown, Dubai.
Okay, that's where you live now, full time, right? You like it there?
Yeah. Very pleasant living, growing market, growing area. It's attracting a lot from all over the world. It's a great environment, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm delighted.
Have you been up there?
I've been there, yes. I went to a UFC event. You remember when the UFC did a show there? Anderson Silva, the first one, UFC 112. But it was in 2010.
When was that? That's a long time ago.
2010. So I feel like a lot has changed, right?
That's such a long time ago. So I'll give it a rundown. Since COVID, it became a lot more busy, and the city kind of sprung to life. That's my opinion, because I was kind of going in and out every other year for the last 15, 16 years. And since COVID is busy, is active, you feel the energy buzzing. So I would highly recommend you to come visit us again.
Okay. I would love to do that. Actually, genuinely, I would love to do that. I'm so happy to connect with you
and
guys.
Let me know, because then I'm going to introduce you to some longevity as well.
Oh, okay. We're going to do an ice bath together, you and I.
Absolutely.
A half marathon, maybe a quarter for me.
No. We don't have to do marathon, but ice bath we definitely have to do. And there's other cool stuff you can do as well.
I would love that. Alistair. Much love, my friend. Good luck this weekend.
Good.
Really great connecting with you. Thank you for doing this.
Always good to see you, Ariel. Talk soon.
Yes, there he is, the great Alistair Overeem. What a great guy, and an old friend now. It's always great to connect with him. Always enjoyed talking to him. Appreciate his insights. And yes, he will be a part of the broadcast on Saturday. That's on DAZN pay-per-view. Alexander Usyk going up against Rico Verhoeven. Who would have thought? And it's just 3 days away now. And it's happening in the afternoon here in the United States because, of course, time difference. They are 7 hours ahead over in Egypt. So check that out Saturday afternoon, Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. Okay, let us move along to our next guest. So very excited and honored to be joined by this individual. He has been very much in the news as of late. He is a pro fighter himself, 13-2-1 with 5 knockouts, just 25 years young. And he is the grandson of the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. His name, Nico Ali Walsh, and you may have seen him pop up on your feeds or heard about him, seen clips of him very, very recently as he is out there fighting on behalf of the Muhammad Ali Act. He was at the Senate hearing not that long ago alongside Oscar De La Hoya, speaking his piece. And of course, when he speaks and when it pertains to something that his grandfather's name is attached to, everyone listens as they should. And I wanted to have him on to talk about how he feels about the state of things and where things are headed. So he's kind enough to join us right here and now. Let us say hello to Nico Ali Walsh. Hello, Nico. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything that you've been doing. And I appreciate your insights very much. When I see you weighing in on this topic in particular, it really resonates because this is a family member. To us, he's a boxer. He's a larger-than-life icon and hero. But this is your grandfather, who you were so close with before he passed about 10 years ago. And so could I ask, when did you first hear about this Revival Act trying to get passed? And initially off the bat, how did you feel?
So I first heard about the Revival Act being passed. I think it first hit the news maybe 6 months ago or so. Everything has happened so fast. So when we first heard about it, obviously they were selling the idea that nothing was being changed in the act that my grandfather put in place, the original Ali Act. So they said that, we're not changing a word, we're just adding to it. So that got brought in and we didn't know what they were doing until I did a deeper dive into what was really going on. And that's when I really had to speak out on it.
And so once you did that deep dive, what was your takeaway? How did you feel about what they were trying to impose?
I don't agree with they're trying to impose at all. My grandfather, you're a fight fan yourself. My grandfather had very strong morals. He stood on his principle, and the Ali Act that he had put in place is an anti-monopoly act. And what they're trying to do is basically pass a monopoly, and it's going completely against what my grandfather stood for. It's quite literally going against what my grandfather put in place because they are changing the Ali Act.
You were there at the Senate hearing and you've spoken up about this. Did anyone reach out to you and say, hey, we're trying to fight this, we're trying to work against this, we need your help, we want you to be involved? Or did you hear about it and say, wait a second, this means a lot to me and my family, I need to get involved?
No, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I was I was hesitant to getting involved at all, but I'm one of those guys where just how I was raised, I feel that if you have a fear of speaking out, that says something alone. And in this sport of boxing, when you speak against a powerhouse that is what we are basically fighting against right now, there's professional consequences. So, I may be losing out on, opportunities and whatever. So when it comes to the other fighters, no one has reached out in support. It's really been me. And then thankfully, I'm so thankful that my team has gotten behind me as well.
That hearing a few weeks ago, how do you feel like it went?
I thought it went well. Obviously, it all happened so fast. They asked me to be a part of that. I was going to go support that hearing and support Oscar De La Hoya, just to be there. But they asked me probably 10 days before the meeting to actually testify. So that's when I had to really just take things serious, make, a speech, a testimony, and I really had to do my homework on this act. But that hearing opened up a lot of doors for me in terms of what I'm able to do now in fighting this battle. We're speaking to senators daily, still, because of that hearing, and they're just shocked at what me and my team are conveying, the point of what Zuffa boxing is trying to bring to the sport, and the monopolistic control that they will have over the sport if they pass the law that they're trying to pass right now the way it is. And the senators are just shocked to hear what we have to say about that.
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. I feel I give you and Oscar a lot of credit. Anyone who goes out there and fights for what they believe in, and I think has, great intentions, and particularly you. I mean, you're not a promoter or anything like that. You're just doing this, I think, on behalf of what you believe in and what you believe your grandfather believed in as well. And I think that's very, very honorable. And there's a part of me that feels like those hearings are a little bit performative. Like the decision has already been made, and this is all the steps that need to happen in order to say, hey, we did our due diligence, but in the end, given who's in power and given who's trying to make this happen, this is going to pass. Do you feel otherwise now, based on these discussions? Do you feel like there's a chance that this could be salvaged?
Listen, all I know is, when it comes to politics, that's something I never want to get involved. I never thought in my life I'd be involved with politics. I never thought in my life I'd be in DC in a courtroom in a suit and tie. But I don't like getting involved with the politics behind the politics. But what I do know is the senators know something has to change with what they're proposing with the Revival Act. They know something has to change, and I feel that me being there and really just going forward and speaking my piece and being passionate as I am about this, every senator we've spoken to knows that something has to change with this Revival Act, and it will not be passed as is. Even Chairman Cruz, when I got to meet him, I testified before him out there. He even knows that something has to change, and he said so as well. So I'm just glad that I'm able to hopefully make a difference. I didn't think I'd be able to, but hopefully we will. We're still speaking with his office. I mean, you wouldn't even believe, almost every single day we're on a call with people.
What do you think TKO's true intentions are with their desire to push this through? What do you think they talk about the amount of money you get per rounds and the medicals and stuff like that? Do you think it's that, or do you think it's something else?
Well, what they're trying to pass is the UFC model. You know that more than anyone. I know you've been around the UFC for many, many, many years. They're trying to pass the UFC model into boxing. And when people ask, how do you think it's going to work? Well, we kind of know how it's going to work. The UFC had to settle a $375 million settlement that their fighters, put against them, and that was a settlement. So we don't even know how much the damages really were. There were over 1,000 claims of fighters complaining about pay and whatnot. So we kind of know the direction that they want to head with boxing. We see it because their business model is apparent today. If you have any questions about what they're trying to do with boxing, you just look at the UFC. And it's kind of unfortunate because I even know, like, Sugar Sean O'Malley, he had this, I remember watching in a podcast, he had this Reebok deal that garnered the UFC over $1 million. And I remember him saying that they used his name, image, likeness, and he only received like $3,000 from it. So that's the kind of stuff that would be, coming to boxing now.
Are you passionate about this and spending so much time on this because it's your grandfather's bill, or do you think that you would feel this way regardless?
That's a great question. I I would feel this way regardless, but because it's my grandfather's will or bill, that's given me the opportunity to actually be able to make a difference. If I was just, if this was just an average law, I wouldn't be on the Senate floor. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be as the fighter I am, where I'm not a champion yet. I'm no Canelo, I'm no Terrence Crawford, so I wouldn't have the opportunity to be there. But because it's my actual name, it's, what my grandfather stood for, it's very important to me. And I think it's just important to fight for fighters. I'm a fighter myself. And this law, if that law passes, if the Revival Act passes the way it is, it will absolutely change my career, and it will change every fighter's career.
Why do you feel that way?
What they're trying to pass is absolutely different from the way boxing is. And boxing is an old sport. Boxing has so much history behind it. Boxing has a free market, which is the biggest thing in boxing, where, we are fighters, boxers are independent contractors, where we can shop different promoters. I'm a free agent right now, so I can go to, say Top Rank, Matchroom, or Golden Boy, any different promoters, and I have the freedom to do that. But under the Revival Act, it will be a monopolistic power where there's one control over the whole sport, and I won't have that freedom to be able to pick and choose where my career goes. They will have a direct line of where my career is, and I just don't like that. It completely takes away a fighter's identity.
One thing that has been brought up in sort of support of the Ali Act, the one that is currently in place, is that, the books have to be open. The fighters will know exactly how much a promoter is making, so they know that they're getting their proper cut X, Y, and Z. As you know, in the world of MMA, that's not the case. Do you think that there is a desire to have that same sort of system in place to where they don't have to share the financials, if you will, with the fighters?
Of course. It's we look at the UFC. In the UFC, the revenue, the fighters make around 16% up to 20% of the revenue that's made in the UFC gets distributed amongst the fighters. In boxing, it's the exact opposite. Fighters make up to 80% of the revenue that is made in these boxing events. So that alone shows you the staggering difference in pay between the UFC and boxing. So they're just trying to move that model to boxing. It's going to make the promoters richer, and then you don't even want to get involved with like the gate and the tickets and everything, because that's just more money for the fighters, but they're stripping that away. With the Revival Act, they're going to strip that away, and it's really just going to be the UFC model in boxing.
A few months ago, we did see a statement that was attributed to your grandfather's widow, Lonnie Ali, in support of the Revival Act. How do you feel about that?
I've been asked that a few times. If you're not in boxing, I don't feel you have a say in what's going on. If you're not a promoter, if you're not a fighter, you don't have a say in a law that's going to govern us. It will not affect anybody outside of boxing. It's going to affect people like me directly. So I have no further comment on that.
Do you have a relationship with her?
We did, we did, we were very close. We were very close with my grandfather. He lived in Arizona. We live in Vegas. So my family was always there. And, the dynamic has changed since his passing. I love my family. I will always love my family, but a lot has changed since he has passed.
I do wonder what it is like for you. Obviously, I'm sure you know everything about your grandfather more than the public knows even, but the trials and tribulations that he had to deal with in sort of hearings like the one you were in, obviously for different reasons. What is that like as his grandson, hearing so much from your mom about him and everything he went through, reading so much, watching so much? I can't imagine what it must have felt like wearing that suit, being up there in Washington. Like, you're an Ali, man. There's no more iconic athlete in the history of this country, dare I say in the history of the world, than your grandfather and everything that he fought for. And so did you feel that spirit? Did you feel that fire? Did you feel his presence? I can't imagine the pride that you feel when speaking and thinking about him. I see a picture of him, behind you over there. What was that like being in DC, fighting the good fight as you believe you are in honor of him? He can't be here to do it, and you're kind of taking that baton, that flame in his honor. What was that feeling like?
I mean, you make it sound very, very powerful. It feels very powerful to me. I know I made my parents proud. Hopefully I made him proud. It's tough fighting stuff that, will have consequences on your career. So it's like when I was going into this fight, I remember it just felt like David versus Goliath. My manager, Amer Abdallah, he was like, do you know what you're getting into? And do you know how powerful of an enemy you could potentially make? And I didn't want to hear any of that. And I just said, I want to fight for what I believe in. I'm a true believer of that. So I hope everything turns out well for, boxing, because that's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for us boxers. I'm fighting for the sport of boxing as a whole. But not only that, I hope things turn out well for me, because I'm taking a lot, just putting myself in this dangerous position.
Do you feel that way? Like, do you feel like there will be ramifications against you as a result of you being so vocal about this?
I'm speaking on it now. I think 100%, but you guys, you will be able to see the ramifications in time if you see how my career pans out from here. We will see just how right I am.
I know this is an impossible question to answer, and I say that, I preface this question knowing that, but what do you think your grandfather would say about all of this?
That is a tough question. I never want to put words in someone else's mouth, but I think it's apparent what he would think about the Revival Act, because it's taking away the act that he put in place. He would not be for it. I don't believe. Why would he? Why would he be for something that is not for the fighters? My grandfather was the people's champion. He fought for the people. He was ready to literally die for what he believed in. And why would he be okay with fighters now being exploited, wiping away his act, and then, coming in with this new Revival Act that would just build a monopoly and take away fighters' powers? I just really don't see. I don't see him agreeing with that at all.
I made a point because I heard you say that if this does pass, you don't want your grandfather's name attached to it. So I continue to refer to it as the Revival Act in honor of what you said and out of respect as well. Is that something that if it does come to pass, and if it is a thing, is that something you're going to fight for, at the very least, to remove his name from it?
That's something I would have to speak with my team. I'm not really, I didn't even want to be involved this much in it. I just want to stop it from happening. Or if not that, I want to make it so that fighters can benefit from it. Just the way that the Revival Act currently is not the way it should be. And, the Ali Act that my grandfather put in place fought to free fighters from monopolies. That's the whole point. And I don't know if I would go, if they did end up passing the Ali Revival Act, I don't know if I would go a step further and say remove his name. I just know that why put his name there? Why use his name as a shield to get away with what you're trying to do in the sport of boxing? I just feel it's wrong, but I don't feel I would take any legal matters.
Understood.
With that.
How have you felt about the boxing community? A lot of people weigh in on this in interviews, in the media, social media, etc., but very few, it feels like, are going out and doing what you did and what Oscar did. I saw you reposted an interview in which Roy Jones Jr. spoke very passionately about this as well. But I'm just wondering, do you feel like the American boxing community, because again, this bill only pertains to American boxing, do you feel like enough people have been sort of putting their money where their mouth is and going that step further in order to stick up for this?
You know, on social media, on my phone, I've heard zero support from fighters, zero. But then I go to fights and I go out in public. They just had this boxing expo for David Benavidez' fight here in Vegas. So I go out there and then every fighter comes up to me quietly and says, "Man, thank you for doing what you're doing." They talk to me in private because they don't want to do it publicly. And I'm not going to knock them for that. They're afraid of the repercussions. And that's we're all driven by like fear right now. So you don't speak out because you don't want to speak against the machine. And I understand their positions, but I can't stay silent on something like this.
How did you feel about how Oscar did at the hearing and the things that he said?
My respect, first off, I watched Oscar De La Hoya when I was little going into boxing. So I've always loved Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter. As a man, I have so much respect for him. I thought he did amazing. He has a lot to lose. He's a promoter. He's a promoter as well, as you know, with Golden Boy, but he has a lot to lose in boxing, and he's putting that on the line same way that I am by, speaking out against TKO and the Ali Revival Act. So I have so much respect for him.
Obviously, when you were out there, you were, I think, actually literally sitting right next to Nick Khan. I'm wondering, did you talk to him at any point, either, behind the scenes while you were together, any conversations with him whatsoever?
Well, Nick Khan went to UNLV. Mm-hmm. I graduated from UNLV. So we were very cordial on that. He's an extremely intelligent businessman, so I have nothing for respect for him when it comes to that. We clearly disagree on these issues what he's trying to push. We completely disagree on that. And a lot of things that he said in the hearing, I just felt were false. Their goal is we're going to tell the public that boxing needs to be fixed, that boxing is broken, and we are coming to be the saviors of boxing. And that's just not the case. They mentioned like in boxing how there's too many belts, and I get that. And then they compared it to the NFL where the Super Bowl champion is the one, but I don't know a lot about football, but I know in the NFL you have the AFC champion, you have the NFC champion, you have AFC West champion, the AFC East champions. So it's like there's a lot of champions. And then when it comes to the Super Bowl, that's the undisputed. That's in boxing what is considered undisputed. But you take away that title, Super Bowl, it's just another football game. So it's not a solution to just make one belt. Every sport has multiple champions.
You mentioned that you're a free agent, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to Zuffa Boxing about fighting for them?
No.
Would you be interested if they came to you?
I don't see why they would. I mean, I feel like I'm the face that's opposing them. I'm the only fighter that's speaking out on it. So I don't feel it would be in their interest to want me.
Well, you are a famous fighter with a famous name and a great record, so I can see that, and you haven't, you're not a top draw, so to speak, so you're someone that you're the kind of fighter that they are signing right now. And so that's why I'm curious, like, what would you do? What would you think? If the deal is right, would you consider it, or because
it wouldn't be about money. They would have to change what they're trying to push right now. They would have to change a lot in the Revival Act. It's, with me, You can call me stupid or dumb, whatever. I'm 25 years old. I'm young. I know money's important, but that's never been my goal, and that will never guide me. Money will never guide me. So if I was to ever do something like you're saying, they would have to change a lot in what they're trying to pass.
How do you feel about the product right now, the Zuffa boxing product, based on what you've seen?
I'm not a huge fan because I'm a fan of traditional boxing. I love in boxing. One of my favorite things in boxing is the boxers having the freedom to express themselves through their shorts. And I just don't like how in Zuffa you got the plain black and the plain white, and then you can only wear Zuffa trunks and Zuffa gloves, and it just kind of takes away from the culture behind boxing. There's so many fighters in history who are famous for the shorts. Like look at Prince Nassim.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Prince Nassim wearing just plain white Zuffa trunks? So that's something small, but to me it is important to express your culture and to express yourself in boxing.
I'm happy you say that because in the world of MMA, I talk about this quite often. There were guys like Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell had ice on his shorts because he was the Iceman.
Yes.
Tito Ortiz had fire. He was the Huntington Beach bad boy. And in the UFC, everyone dresses the same. They're wearing uniforms as well. And I feel like that has been stripped away. And I love learning. George St. Pierre used to walk out wearing the gi. You can't do that anymore because he came from a karate background. It tells the story of who these people are, right?
Yeah, no, and there was a boxer, Little Red Lopez, who wore, he was Native American, and he wore an Indian headdress to the ring, and that was what he was known for. And, like someone like Tommy Hearns, can you imagine Tommy Hearns not wearing his signature Kronk Gold shorts? Like that was his thing. And those are just like important aspects of boxing that really make it creates individuality in boxing. It's just freedom, having the freedom to choose.
What could you tell us about the next steps, where things currently stand, and what you're looking at? What are the next steps for this journey that you're on?
We're working tirelessly. I'm so happy that my team has been just fully supportive with me because I would not be able to do this on my own. We're seriously, I'm training right now. I'm in camp getting ready for a fight, but almost every single day I'm in a meeting with a senator or a committee or something DC related, something related to this bill. They understand that something in the bill has to change because every senator we've spoken with has said the same thing. They've been shocked at what's being pushed because they don't know they don't watch boxing. We explain it to them. They're shocked at what's trying to be pushed, the centralized system, the monopolistic system. And they all say the same thing. They say that something has to change in the bill. And that's what we're trying to do right now. That's our next steps.
I understand I'm putting you somewhat on the spot here, but when you say something has to change, what has to change? What would you change? What are one or two things about that you really don't like?
Right off the jump is transparency. That's the biggest thing that was in the original Ali Act. So transparency is number one. You got to be able, the fighter should be able to see how much is being made. Transparency, sponsorships. Sponsorships are incredibly important for fighters because fighters take 100% of the sponsorship money that they make. And then as you know, in Zuffa, there's no sponsors. So that's very important. And that just kind of gets away from the monopolistic control. Like obviously we don't want a monopoly in boxing. So that should be cut immediately. And to do that, you would have to just inch by inch take away like just more transparency, sponsorship, more freedom, that kind of stuff. And another thing that they mentioned, I remember was mentioned by Mr. Khan in the hearing was they said boxing was too complicated and there was too many belts. And they said that, in the new Zuffa, they will have one Zuffa belt, but already Zuffa is with the ring and they've got two belts there. So you got the ring belt, the ring rankings, and then you've got the Zuffa belt and the Zuffa rankings. So already there, it's kind of contradictory because they've got two belts and they're not even official yet. People think that Zuffa is a UBO right now. They're not. Right now, Zuffa is just another promoter. As soon as they become a UBO, if they pass this Revival Act the way it is, as soon as they become a UBO, they will be able to have that that belt, and they'll be able to have that control.
When you hear, the likes of Dana White, Nick Khan as well say, look, you have the choice now. You can either stick with the old act or, go with ours. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a really realistic option? Do you think that's how it will actually play out?
No, that's how monopolies start. They buy up all the top talent. They put the promoters out of business, and then you don't have a choice. So, I mean, you will have a choice. You're not being held. There's no gun being held to your head that you have to go to Zuffa, but you're not going to have any other opportunities. Once they put the other promoters out of business, they buy all the top talent. We hear every day about a new big name boxer that's going to Zuffa. So once they buy all that top talent and they just take over the sport, they've got the money to do that. They have the resources to become that monopoly. And once they do that, you could be fighting, get random fights in Mexico, or you could be getting some sort of opportunity with Zuffa, so you wouldn't have a choice.
How do you feel like this plays out?
You can call me hopeful or maybe naive, but I think that we're going to change this. I really believe it because of how the Senate has reacted to us speaking with them. I truly believe that changes will be made, if not the bill getting destroyed completely. They understand what we're trying to convey. And I have a feeling that boxing will win this one.
Okay. Can I ask you just before we go, and again, I understand I'm somewhat putting you on the spot here, but Muhammad Ali was your grandfather. Can you tell us about him, as just a grandfather, not as Muhammad Ali, just your grandfather? What was your name for him? What did you call him? What was he like being around? I understand, your memories are probably of him being a little bit older and battling what he had to battle. But when you think of good memories, good times with him, what comes to mind?
Man, so we called him Poppy. All of us called him Poppy, and we were just very close with him. So my thing with him was watching boxing. I would always watch him. I would always put on YouTube his fights, or I would show him I was just starting boxing at that point, so I would show him sparring videos of me. But other than that, the fun stuff we would do, we were big into horror movies. So he loved Dracula. He loved Wolfman. Just sick, just horror movies. It was a normal relationship. So yeah. I don't see him as everybody else sees him. When I see that guy that's yelling and doing the shuffle and knocking people out and doing all these amazing things, I don't see Ali. I see Poppy. So I have the memories now, which is I'm very happy. I'm very grateful to have those.
Yeah, that is amazing. Last thing, you mentioned you have a fight coming up. What can you tell us? Where will you be fighting against who, etc.?
I'm hoping the fight. So I haven't signed the dotted line yet, so I don't make anything official till then. But I'm hoping, God willing, it will be June 19th. It will be in Long Beach, California, and it'll be on an MF Pro card.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they're doing big things over there. Opponent?
Yes. I don't know the opponent yet, but I'm the easiest fighter to make opponents with. You send me a guy, my team approves it. I'm ready. I'm training for anybody.
All right. Well, good luck to you. I wish you nothing but the best in this journey. I know it's somewhat of a uphill battle, so to speak. There's a lot of big forces at play, but very cool to see you.
But people like you, giving me the opportunity to speak on it are really helpful. So thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Good luck to you, Nico. All the best to you, and good luck in your fight, if, of course, it happens next month.
Thank you very much, Ariel.
There he is, Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali. Great to get his perspective on the Ali Act. We speak about it a lot on this show. And, as I have said to people at TKO, I'd love to get their side of things. I'm not trying to always get, and I know how Lou DiBella felt about it all, and I think that he's kind of more in the middle, if you will, but I want to get their side. I'd love to get their side. Unfortunately, their side's not readily available to us. I would be more than happy. I really do try to pride myself on getting all sides of the story, on hearing from everyone. I never want this show to be an echo chamber. I never want this show to be slanted. I never want this show to only have one opinion. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with people that come on the show, but I want to hear them out. I want to talk it out. I want to be able to hear their side and come to a certain understanding. And then we all shake hands like human beings and say, all right, none of us will ever agree on everything. That is not normal. That is not healthy. It's impossible. The human race is not built that way. And so I want to hear all sides of the story. We will talk about it when they talk about it. We will talk to the people who are available to us. And I enjoy this topic very much, obviously. And I think it's a very, very important part of the fight game. And so I hope you enjoyed that as well. All right. We'll get to some news and notes back in. But I'm very excited. Oh, I got to put this on. Sorry, Frank. Usually I get the reminder. I think it's because of the clip. Frank's mad at me because of the clip. Wait 1 second. I got to turn this on. Sorry.
New here?
Oh, hey, Frank. Yesterday we had a great in-studio guest. MJF was phenomenal. What a chat that was. Yeah, he was great. I really enjoyed that. And there are preliminary talks of some members of the team actually going to Double or Nothing on Sunday. And a reminder, by the way, no show on Monday. It's Memorial Day here in the United States. So we usually take off for 2 Mondays out of the year when we're not on our spring break, summer break, winter break. That would be Memorial Day and Labor Day. So this is the first. Hopefully everyone who is not in the United States understands that we won't be doing a show on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday. Something was going on with this thing, Frankie. I'm sorry. Okay. Obviously, on Saturday, we were at the Intuit Dome for the first MVP MMA card. And man, that fight between Phumi Nkuta and Adriano Moraes was one that I was super into. I said it was my sleeper fight on the undercard. Obviously, Moraes was supposed to fight Muhammad Mokaev. He can't get his visa, and Nkuta comes in. I've been hearing about him from Ali Quinta. I mentioned this a bunch of times last week. And the fight was great, and it ended in very controversial fashion. On Monday, we had Herb Dean on the program to talk about his decision, ultimately deciding that it was a technical submission win for Adriano Moraes. Now we have the pleasure of being joined by Turbo himself. Phumi Nkuta is here to talk about what transpired Saturday in Inglewood. There he is. I just saw him, and now he's here in studio. My man.
Man, nice
How are
to
you?
see you, brother.
It's
How
great
you
to
doing?
see you
Good.
again. Thank you so much. Please have a seat.
All right.
Gosh, what a last few days for you, huh?
What an incredible couple of days.
Yo, man. I'm happy that you say incredible.
Yeah.
You say it with a smile.
Of course.
Even though it, and if you don't mind, just get to the microphone over there.
Oh,
so we can hear.
my apologies. I'm new at this.
No, you're good. You're good. Even though it ended that way, it's still incredible with a smile.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what happened happened, but the people know I won. You know what I mean? For me to do what I did on 9 days' notice, expecting 125, and then to fight at 130 against a guy that beat Mighty Mouse. Come on, man. At the end of the day, I'm a winner, so it's all good.
Okay, so I want to actually take a step back, like a major step back.
Yeah.
We knew the fight was going to be Mokaev versus Moraes. Where are you when you get the call, hey, Mokaev can't fight, we want you to fight?
Man, so I had an idea that it might happen. I was actually crazy. Shane Collins had just fought for A1 Combat probably 2 weeks prior than the actual fight was. And I'm probably out drinking, celebrating, his win with Aljo and a couple of the guys. They told me it might happen maybe about a couple days later. So I would have had 9 days before the fight. They were like, look, he's out. You want to step in? Of course, man. You know what I'm saying? There was no other answer to say but yes. Signed on the dotted line for 125 pounds, 126 plus 1, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Then they come back and say, no, you're fighting at 130 or there's no fight.
Why?
Hey, you got to ask Moraes and all those guys.
Do you think that was his call?
It was their call. It wasn't our call. We wanted 125. But I don't know if it was because he hadn't cut to there before or whatever. But in my opinion, I'm like, dude, he's had a whole camp. He should fight at 125. Why do we have to go to 130? I'm the one coming on short notice, but it is what it is. I signed up anyways, and man, I was still working that guy, so
and
it's all good.
To be clear, the Mokaev fight was 125 as well.
Absolutely,
and so do you think he took this as an opportunity to not cut because in one championship he was flyweight champion, but flyweight for them is 135?
Look, That's what I believe, but at the end of the day, you'd have to ask him and his camp as to why they wanted 130. But at the end of the day, short notice, 9 days out, I was ready for 126.
How much did you weigh, by the way, when you took that call?
maybe a $145, maybe like 142, somewhere around there. So it wasn't the craziest cut. I've also been working for a short notice call, whether it was UFC, MVP, or anything. So I was trying to keep my weight a little low.
And so, top of my head, you were 11-0 going into this fight, right?
Yep.
And as I've said a bunch of times now to you, Ali Quinta always bigging you up. This guy never lost a round, never been knocked down. A1 combat champion in other organizations.
Yeah.
Why did you never get that UFC opportunity?
I don't make those calls, Ariel.
But what's going on? You're from Ray Longo's camp, right?
Yeah.
You're boys with all those guys. That's like a factory of dudes who became not only UFC contenders but champions too, right? From Weidman to Aljo to Merab.
An incredible lineage.
Yes.
Matt Serra.
Yes, of
all
course.
those guys. Aljamain Sterling, and for me, I can't worry about that. My job is to fight. But there were times when it would get frustrating seeing guys get their opportunity and
lesser fighters,
you know what I'm saying? Guys who weren't that good. Even what's the name? That guy Paris Moran. He just won by split decision, and I think 56% of his fights actually went to the scorecard. So he's not like a finisher by any means. And even he got a call to Contender Series. You know what I'm saying?
You never even got Contender Series call.
I never even got a Contender
How's
Series
this
call.
possible?
Hey man, I don't make those calls. I don't really care. The only thing I can do is win, and that's what I do.
And it didn't deter you, discourage you, get you down?
Look, when I was younger, yeah. And obviously I had other life problems and stuff like that weren't helping at the time. But man, when I came back from this hand injury, one thing I told myself, man, is I'm just gonna have fun doing this. I love what I do every day. I wake up and I get to train. I get to fight. I get to help my teammates fight. I get to get better as a mixed martial artist as well. So to me, it didn't matter where I was fighting, when I was fighting. As long as I got to do what I love to do, man, I was content in life, man. It didn't really matter to me anymore.
When you talk about other life problems, what do you mean by that? What can you say?
And just at the time I'd broken this hand, this was maybe 2021, and I just had family issues and personal issues and stuff like that. So I didn't see a reason to fight at that point in my life. And also, I just kind of saw where the sport was going to a certain degree. We could both agree the sport isn't what it used to be. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by that when you say that?
Man, it's not about who's the best anymore. You know what I mean? And that's something that I feel like some of the guys that are on the top aren't really the best fighters on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that may have made me bitter back in the day, but I feel like I've kind of adjusted. And look, whether you love me or hate me, I am one of the best fighters on the planet, and I could also kill it here on this microphone, kill it on the camera, kill it in all the other ways that all those other people can't really live up to me anyway. So I was a little bitter back in the day, but man, I love my life. I love this game, and I'm back full swing.
What were you doing when you kind of took that break there? What did you do to support yourself?
Crazy. I just was working regular jobs and stuff like that, and it's funny. One of my boys was telling me he was just checking in on me, see if I was okay, because I wasn't really around the gym so much. It's actually Aljamain's brother, Kelvin.
Okay.
He calls me. He goes, "Look, man, I know you're not fighting, but you got to come back to MMA." And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing it.
Wow, so you were retired?
Oh, bro, I was done. I was I just didn't see a reason to fight anymore, And then he tells me, he's like, look, man, you're just too good on camera and you're too good of an athlete. You got to do something. And I remember, man, it was funny. You had the guy on the show yesterday. I was watching. My brother's a big AEW fan.
Oh, MJF.
Yeah. So I think right at that point when I had stopped fighting, it was MJF versus CM Punk.
Uh-huh.
And crazy, man, I know CM Punk now. He's a good dude, friend of mine. Actually was at the fights rooting for me front row when I was fighting. And, I'm watching that match with my brother, and my brother goes, "Do you ever do that?" And I'm thinking to myself, man, I never thought I would go that pro wrestling route. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I think this is something I could do. I'm good on camera. I'm an athlete. Obviously, I got the mic skills that other people don't got. School, we're doing it. And I think maybe a couple weeks later, signed up at House of Glory, started training with the Amazing Red. And, now I'm back in MMA doing both.
This is amazing. And we're seeing some here are some photos of you doing your thing.
Yeah.
So we have a show here called the Uncrowned Wrestling Show, and it's hosted by a guy named Jason Solomon.
Yeah.
He's the commissioner of House of Glory.
Guy, he's told me about you
He's
as
the
well.
man. And so yesterday, so the show comes out every Tuesday, and it's about pro wrestling. And at the beginning of yesterday's episode, he's talking about you and your fight. And the first thing he says Phumi, and he says your name right, and I'm like, because some people might say Phumi, right?
Yeah, they mess it up a lot.
And I'm like, man, Jason really seems to know a lot about this guy. And then he mentions House of Glory, and he mentions he's the commissioner and that you wrestle for them.
Yeah.
I didn't know about all that stuff. It's
crazy, man.
That's amazing. So it was all because of Aljo's brother who says, and then now all of a sudden you're watching. And so how far along in wrestling did you get? And are you doing both at the same time? I've heard you refer to yourself as the Bo Jackson of combat sports, right?
Absolutely, you got it right, my man.
I think you got a match this weekend too.
Your ears are to the street.
May
We're
22nd.
wrestling this weekend at House of Glory.
Crazy.
And I don't know who I'm wrestling yet, but for those guys out there in the squared circle, I want the best competitor out there. Don't matter if it's a dude like Leon Slater, who is former X Division champion. Anybody who wants that call, come to House of Glory. Come get this $1 million punch, baby.
How long did you train before you had your first match?
Probably a good year and a half.
Okay.
I put in a lot of time.
And you had no previous background in any of this? In wrestling?
Man, I mean, I was an amateur wrestler in high school,
So
stuff like that.
pro
but
wrestling,
in terms of
gymnastics?
pro wrestling,
Yeah.
never did gymnastics, never did any of that. I signed up to House of Glory. A good dude named Montekia, who was also a former House of Glory Cruiserweight champion. He was like, bro, you got to come through. I was like, all right, I'm in. I started training with Red, and the rest is history. And if you know the Amazing Red,
legend.
I mean, dude, he's not only is he a legend, but he's probably the best innovator in professional wrestling, man. Everyone steals his moves, from Code Reds to the Canadian Destroyer, to even just a style of wrestling, that action-packed, fast-paced indie style. That's all Red. You know what I'm saying? So they get to learn from him too. Man, it's like, I look at my life and I'm so blessed. You wonder why, I'm not really upset about anything. Man, I get to learn from Matt Serra and Ray Longo in the sport of mixed martial arts. Arguably the two best coaches of all time. I mean, obviously now I work with Mateus Nakashe, and bro, he's helped me elevate my game as well. So in that mixed martial arts sense, I have some of the best coaches and best learning tree that I could possibly learn from. And then in the other front, in the sport of professional wrestling, I get to learn from the Amazing Red. Bro, I'm blessed. And now that I'm back, I'm doing both. I'm the Bo Jackson, and let's just run it up.
Which do you prefer? If you could pick one and do one for the next 15, 20 years, which would you prefer?
Obviously, it'd be mixed martial arts.
You prefer that, okay.
That's my heart and soul. That's my baby. And, wrestling has been my side chick a little bit. But I think I'm at a point now where as long as I could do both, why not? Why not elevate one? Why not use the mixed martial arts to elevate the wrestling to elevate the mixed martial arts? There has not been a single person, I don't think, who's done both at the same time at the highest level. Well, guys like Brock Lesnar, even CM Punk,
Josh Barnett,
Dan Severn, Tom Lawler, they've either Ken Shamrock, they've either fought or wrestled. I'm out here doing both.
You want to do both?
Just last week, I fought former 1FC champion, beat Demetrius Johnson. Now I'm looking to step in there with someone who's a high-level professional wrestler as well, just 1 week later. By the way, took no damage. I'm still looking pretty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, is anyone else doing that? Not at all. And at the same time, I'm still in shape, so who knows? If someone calls, I'll fight the week after that. You know what I'm saying? And then if someone else wants to wrestle, I'll wrestle the week after that too. I'm in shape. I feel good. I got a smile on my face. Still sitting pretty. We're on the Ariel Show. Come on, man. I'm killing it.
And are you exclusive to House of Glory, or can you work for other indies as well?
I can work for other indies as well, but I do feel like House of Glory is home base.
Okay.
So anytime they call, I answer.
Do you feel like your stock has been raised, elevated after this weekend?
Oh, 100%, man. It was funny. I was talking to Matt Serra about it. He called me, left a very lengthy voicemail that was very animated.
Yeah.
But he told me, he's like, look, man, this might be the best thing that happened for you. You know what I mean? Because one, obviously the controversy, everybody's talking about it. But I think most importantly, I showed how much of a dog I am. I showed I got that gangster in me, you know what I'm saying? I showed on 9 days' notice. I don't care who you are. world champion, former world champion. I'm stepping in there, and the people know I was beating his ass for the majority of that fight. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it was, close fight. I'm getting beat up, bruised up. I'm sitting here with all these scars on my face and talking about how no. The grand majority is saying, look, Phumi, you stepped in there short notice and you were putting a beating on Adriano Moraes. The people know I was winning that fight. The people know I won that fight. So at the end of the day, I think I had so many eyes on me because of the controversy. Now everyone's paying attention to it. And if you watch that fight, come on, man, everyone knows I was winning.
And so I understand and appreciate and believe that you're handling this well, but have you been replaying those final 15 or so seconds a lot in your mind and what you could have done differently? Has that been keeping you up?
I mean, it's not keeping me up at all. I mean, obviously, I think me throwing the cartwheel kick ended in, the danger and all of that. But at the end of the day, man, I put on fun fights. And there was always that, I don't want to say rumor, but there was always that notion that I feel like was getting spread about me that I'm a boring fighter and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you can't say my fights are boring. You got to be as dumb as a doorknob to say my fights are boring, man. I got a fight of the night 2 fights ago. My last fight against Namiki in A1 was, lights out performance, stole the show there. And again, on a card with Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, Junior Dos Santos, Despanin, even the French guy, I don't want to butcher his name.
Parnas, Nate
Saladin,
Diaz, Mike Perry.
Diaz, Mike Perry, all
Francis
these
Ngannou.
guys. I had the fight of the night, and it's no disrespect to Moraes. Actually, matter of fact, I don't even care. Dude was dirty, held the choke on me, whatever. But I believe I was the one that made that fight fun. I was the one that, close to the end of the fight, was like, yo, let's just scrap. You know what I'm saying? I'm screaming at the guy. I'm pulling on my pants. I had my little Max Holloway moment.
Yeah.
And the fight ended the way it ended. Controversy aside. But at the end of the day, I put on a show and I put on the most entertaining fight on the card that was the most watched mixed martial arts card in history. I won.
Do you regret doing what you did at the end?
Why would I?
No, I don't know, because you want the W at the end of the day. You now have a 1. And by the way, for the record, I thought they got it wrong. I said that multiple times. I thought they got it wrong. But I'm just wondering, you could have coasted. If you would have just coasted for the last 15 seconds, I saw the scorecards. You were up on 2, tied on 1. Very likely could win the 3rd as well. If not, you still win on those 2 scorecards.
Yeah.
You just stand there and do your thing. It's another dub for you.
Of course. And I was funny. I was talking to my manager about it. I could have just, ran around the octagon, or I could have just played it safe and tried to grab a single and wrestle. That's not me, man. Crowd's going crazy. I want to put on fun fights. Obviously, I want the win. I want the W. But when it's all said and done, I want people to be like, 1, Phumi's the best professional pound-for-pound mixed martial artist in the world, and he's the most fun fighter out there. You know what I'm saying? I gave the fans what they wanted. And at the same time, we still have the appeal. We still have all of that can go down. So who knows? It could be no contest. But in my mind, look, at the end of the day, Ariel, I don't know if you know what my name means. My name is Phumelele, and in Xhosa that means successful. People call me Phumi, right? So that means success. I have an undefeated record. I think my career is going to be successful. And whether I win or lose, like this weekend, I always come out on top. Mm-hmm. The people know I won. The people know I'm successful. At the end of the day, court of public opinion, my hand gets raised, baby.
That moment there, I was curious. Did the knee land? Did his knee land?
No. So what happened is...
Do we have it, by the way, guys?
Yeah, you play it if you want.
Can we play it for him? I don't know if we have... Do we have the full thing? The clip that we played for Herb? If anyone could let me know. Could we play it and have Phumi tell us what's going on here?
Absolutely. So right there, I go for the cartwheel kick. He throws the knee at the same time. Man, almost like a Goku Vegeta moment where we both throw our finishing moves at each other. And here you see I'm pulling down on the left arm because I know he's got the choke in. Bell rings. He holds the choke for an extra 2.15 seconds. By the way, we
counted.
We counted, our attorney Lance, we counted everything. He held it for an extra 2.15 seconds on the clock. And it's crazy, man, because I hear the ticker. I'm pulling on his arm, so I have a little space to breathe, but he's still choking me. I hear the bell. I wake up, obviously, you know, I get choked out, you know, in my opinion, after the bell. Not even my opinion, but if I hear the bell, Ariel, and then I go to sleep, when did I go to sleep?
Yeah, after the bell. It's very clear to me.
It's very clear I go to sleep after the bell. And, you know, I'm not discrediting him for taking my back. I probably shouldn't have thrown the kick, but he's an expert level jiu-jitsu fighter. So credit to him for taking my back. But I had enough space to breathe, at least just a little bit, and hold the choke to where I wasn't just going to go out right away. He holds it for an extra 2.15 seconds. I get Husmar Paul Juarez. You know what I'm saying?
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut for the guys that know out there.
Yeah.
And I wake up, and man, as soon as I woke up, I was like, all right, I know I didn't get knocked out. Obviously, you're a little cloudy. You don't know what's going on as soon as you wake up. But I knew in my mind, I'm like, I know I didn't get knocked out. What happened? I don't want to curse in here. My mom will kill me.
Okay, no problem.
But I'm like, what the F happened, man? Like, what's going on? I wake up, I see Mateus, you know, Nakashe arguing with the ATT guys. All my coaches are upset. They're pretty pissed off. And in my mind now, I'm starting to come to, like, okay, I'm here at the Inuit Dome. I'm fighting. This isn't a dream. I heard the bell. I heard the ticker. What's going on? And then I'm like, dude, did he hold the choke? What happened? Then people keep saying, like, you know, he held the choke. He had you in there for a little bit longer. Then I'm going up to the commissioner. I'm telling him, like, dude, he choked me after the bell. I go up to Nakisa, you know, after the fight, because comes into the octagon. He's like, look, you know, I'm like, bro, he held me in the choke after the bell. It is what it is, you know, and I thought that they would see that at the time. I guess not, but, you know, thank God in California, we're going to have a chance to fight it. We have our appeal in, and, you know, I pray they see it from our stance. If you really look at it, any doctor will tell you every second counts when you're in a choke. Every second counts. 1 second you could be there, the next second you could be out.
Yeah.
He's holding it for an extra 2.15 seconds. And it's not like, it's not like Herb Dean jumped in there right away as well. And I'm not trying to hate on Herb Dean. I'm not trying to be the Dominic Cruz and have Herb Dean be my, you know what I'm saying?
Keith Peterson.
Be my Keith Peterson or nothing like that. But if you watch it, the bell rings and Herb doesn't even get in there right away. So now time is already ticking. And not only that, Herb's trying to pull the guy off of me. Guy's not letting go and he's squeezing harder. And then I go out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
very
like
clear. It's very clear that it was post bell. It was very clear that he held on. And to me, it was clear that by the time the bell rings, you're still fighting it.
Absolutely.
I thought it was a no-brainer. In fact, when I was in the cage, someone came up to me who's of great importance to all of this, not a promoter side, on an official side, but it was a conversation that I don't know if it was on the record or off, but I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think happens here? And he said quite clearly to me, this is going to go to the scorecards because it was post, and whatever happens there happens. And so I couldn't believe that they called it a technical submission, saying that you were out with 1 second to go. Now, that's the scorecard right there.
Man, it's crazy, man.
Speaking of Herb, he was on my show on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of it, but I did ask him, obviously, about this. I wanted to play you his response about that controversial moment and then give you a chance to respond as well, all right?
Sure,
all right, here we go. Here's Herb from Monday.
I see that he's going after the rear neck, and I'm like, man, you don't got much time to get this, but he goes straight to it, has it locked in. Now I'm thinking of, right as we're getting close to the end, I'm thinking about, okay, there you see him go out. But I'm thinking about the bell, that the bell's going to sound and I'm going to have to fight hands. So my focus, usually when in a situation like that, where I'm thinking about somebody may go out for a rear naked choke, I have a bit of a wider focus. I want to see the body, because the hands and often the legs are what's going to give you your clue that someone's out, whereas looking at their face won't. But then as it's time for me to stop the fight, of course, I'm looking at, at his hands, because, I'm trying to figure out which grips he has and what I might have to fight, if he's not letting go instantly. So that's where my focus kind of shifted towards the hands. And I saw his body did, but I wasn't focused there. And since I had time, I wanted to make sure I got everything right and wanted to know when things happened, especially in relationship to the bell. I went out and to look at the replay, and definitely sure that he went unconscious before the bell, right, like a fraction of a second before the bell. Then I went and stopped the fight. He grasped for a fraction of a second, let go, and then we went and we had the time to look at things. And I think that looking at it kind of made it seem odd, but I wanted to take my time since the fight was already over and make sure that I got all the information so I can make the right decision.
Definitely out before the bell.
Look, he also said that, and then he said he held it for a fraction of a second. Look, like I said, man, he's not going to be my Keith Peterson. I know he's just trying to do his job.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And being a ref in this sport where there's so much going on, it's not easy. So I'm not going to hate on Herb or say Herb Dean is this kind of person or whatever. That's not my job. I'm not going to attack his character or anything like that. But I disagree. And we have angles as well on film where you could see me still fighting the choke as the bell goes off, and where I'm still grimacing as the choke goes off, or as the bell goes off. If I'm grimacing and I'm still fighting the choke at the bell, how am I out before?
What are you thinking, by the way, in that moment, if anything?
Well, I heard the ticker and I was like, I'm good. And I'm telling you, like, he didn't have it. Obviously he had the choke in, but I'm holding that arm to just at least give me a little space to where he can't just fully squeeze and it's a wrap from there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm holding it. I know I have a little bit of space, and man, it sucks because I hear the bell and then I go out. If Herb Dean was right there at the bell to get him off of me, then I'm not out. You know what I'm saying? And to hold it for an extra 2.15 seconds, not a fraction of a second, but when you put the timer on, an extra 2.15 seconds, when you're already in a choke for maybe about 9 seconds or so, that's a lot of time. That's enough time for you to go to sleep. And it's unfortunate it ended the way it ended, but like the shirt says, I'm the man of the people. I'm the people's champ.
Hell yeah.
New shirt coming out soon.
I like that shirt.
You know what I'm saying?
You make this after the fight? Is this a new one?
I made this after the fight. Ariel, I get you one.
I appreciate. Where can people get it? They want to
don't know
support.
where we're going to get it yet.
Okay.
You know, I'm definitely going to put it out there. Maybe on millions.co. I'm also going to have my own website. So you'll definitely be able to get it there.
This is good.
But yeah, man, I'm the man of the people, people's champ. At the end of the day, we know we won that fight.
Well, you mentioned the appeal. How confident are you that something's going to happen? And are you trying to get it turned into a no contest? Are you trying to say, hey, go to the scorecards, I win? What are you actually trying to get from the appeal?
Look, I think I guess I don't really know how that whole thing works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where Lance and those guys are going to take over and figure it out from there. But I'll tell you what, it's definitely not a loss. Not if I'm awake at the bell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if if the way the rules work, it would be a no contest, or they would call it, because it also could be disqualification as well. If I'm holding something on you after the bell, I think it was someone sent me a rules list, California State Athletic Commission, and you're attacking someone after the bell, that's also one of the rules. That's a foul, right? So now at the end of the day, we're talking about a foul. We're talking about the referee getting in there late. Man, it was almost like a double whammy kind of, hitting on my record. But end of the day, we're putting our appeal in. We hope they're going to hear us out. And I assume they will because, man, California State Athletic Commission has been great to us so far. Even getting this fight short notice. Like, I fought for California and Sacramento as well in A1 March 27th. So, got love for those guys, and they made the whole process easy. I think we formally submitted our appeal in today, with a written letter and everything like that. So whether it's a no contest or they rule it a disqualification and then we go to the judges' scorecards, regardless, I'm undefeated.
Hell yeah.
Everyone knows it.
You'll understand this reference because of the pro wrestling connection. He cut a bit of a heel promo on you afterwards. What did you think of what he had to say on the microphone? He was kind of dismissive of your claims.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously that's what he's going to try and do, right? He got what he wanted. He knew holding that choke in for an extra 2.15 seconds was going to put me out. You know what I'm saying? He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he was a pretty strong cat. So I'm sure in his mind, he was like, I'm just going to hold this thing and hold it, and we'll see if he goes out. Obviously, he got what he wanted, so he's going to cut his little heel promo. But let's be honest, man. What he was saying on the microphone ain't as cool as what I was saying on the microphone,
were
brother.
great.
I killed on this thing, man. And as soon as I got on there, the crowd started cheering me. You know what I'm saying? And they started booing him. So, look, I don't know if you asked Nakisa. Did you ask Nakisa about the fight?
We didn't have time, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, regardless of all the fights that happened on that card, they're talking about making, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry too. But the fans, are asking for one fight in particular.
Oh, I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, the fans are asking for one fight in particular. It's no offense to Nate Diaz, no offense to Mike Perry. The fans aren't asking for that fight. Nakisa, MVP, they want to make that fight happen again. But the fans all want to see Turbo versus Moraes 2. Me actually on a full camp and me actually at 125 pounds. Why not? Good guy versus bad guy. The cheater versus the best. Let's make it happen.
Have they talked to you about, he did say that they're in the MMA business now. They want to continue and whatnot. It seems like it was a good experience. You're wearing the hat, so that would suggest that.
Obviously.
And I want to ask you about the experience in a moment, but has anyone reached out to you about your interest in continuing to fight for them and fighting him in particular again?
No, I haven't heard anything from anyone. Obviously, they've been good to me. And it's funny, man, because everybody in the back room, as soon as I get to the back, from the security guys to some of the people who are just, running around doing stuff for the show, they're all like, bro, you were beating his ass, bro. You won. I don't know if they're speaking on the record or off the record, but everyone I spoke to was like, hey, that was your win. And they screwed you. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything from MVP. I haven't heard anything about them bringing me back. Haven't heard anything about a rematch. But our fight is still being talked about to this day by everybody. So let's do it.
How was the experience fighting for them? Their first show, being a part of it all, big deal. You've seen the numbers now. How was the experience?
Man, it was one of a kind. It was awesome. From going to the regional scene, and the regional scene was cool. Fighting for CFFC was nice. LFA, Peak, even A1 is cool, but these guys really made you feel like a superstar. You know what I'm saying? With the press conference and the way that whole thing did. And shout out to you too. You made sure everyone got a little second on a hot microphone in front of all those people. That was pretty cool. From the weigh-in show, we're standing on a platform almost on some Mortal Kombat type
Crazy,
of stuff.
right?
Man. Like
elevated.
The pyro and the cryo and all that kind of stuff they had, man. It was a really cool experience. The production value was very high. The people in the back were great. They handled everything well. Media day was awesome. The people in the back were dope. Obviously, too, the pay was very nice.
Okay.
Better than anything I'd ever had. So I had a pleasant experience with MVP.
You'd like to continue to fight for them?
Yeah, sure. If they call me, I'll fight again. You know what I'm saying? I just want to fight and prove I'm the best in the world.
Right.
I want to fight on the biggest platform against the best competition and show without a shadow of a doubt I am not just the best flyweight in the world, but in the sport of mixed martial arts and even in the sport of professional wrestling, I'm the best in the business. I'm here to prove that.
So when you, honestly, when you watch like a Joshua Van against a Tatsuro Taira just a couple of weeks ago, you think you're better than those guys?
Absolutely.
Not even a question?
Not even a question.
Wow.
Look, Ariel, I took that fight on 9 days' notice. He had a whole 2 months, maybe more, to get ready for that fight. That's what I did on 9 days' notice. I don't throw that cartwheel kick, my hand is up. If I don't care about entertaining the fans and putting on fun fights and I just want to skate to a decision, then we're talking about me beating Adriano Moraes. But scratch that, man of the people, people's champion. We're still talking about me beating Adriano Moraes. The people know I beat Adriano Moraes. So at the end of the day, that's what I did on 9 days' notice. In my opinion, I think Adriano Moraes is a more well-rounded fighter, a more experienced fighter than a Taira or a Van. Obviously, they're young, they're still coming up, and they have a lot of skills, a lot of good experience. And it's not to hate on those guys, but it's just a testament to how good I am. It's a testament to my years of training with Ray Longo, Matt Serra, with Aljamain Sterling and Rob Davalishvili and all the other beasts at Serra Longo and even the guys that I train with now like Alex Perez and Mateus Nakashe and Ode Osborne. I'm training with the highest level guys in the sport, and I've been since 2013. if I wasn't the best in the world, there's something wrong with me. I've been training for too damn long to be an average, run-of-the-muck journeyman bum. I'm one of the best in the world. Scratch that. I am the best in the world.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, for me to have a performance like that on 9 days' notice, just imagine what I would do with a full camp against a guy like Tyra, Joshua Van, even a dude like Pantoja. I'm taking the world by storm, and I think the one important part, the one important aspect about all of this is that Joshua Van, Tyra, Pantoja, even Moraes, they don't got this. They don't got that. When it comes to that camera, when it comes to the microphone, when it comes to actually drawing and being a star at 125 pounds, there is not a single other fighter in the world that can make 125 or 126 that can be a star the way I am and kill it on this microphone, baby.
So I don't understand. Like, what is your theory as to why they never called you?
I don't have a theory, and I can't.
You never asked Matt, Ray, Marab, Aljo, Chris?
I've heard that it's because I'm boring.
You've heard that?
I've heard that before.
You don't seem very boring to me. That wasn't a boring fight. You're not boring on the mic.
Yeah.
Too many decisions?
Maybe that's the case, but I look at a guy like Paris Moran. 56% of his fights ended by decision. He just won a split decision this past weekend or something on Fury a couple weeks ago, and he got a shot at contender. So I don't know if it's a decision thing because he got his opportunity, but in my opinion, I'm not worried about that. I know whatever it is, it's not personal. I'm sure they got a business to run and they feel like they're making a good business decision. And for me, I'm not taking it personally. The only thing I could do is put one foot in front of the other, prove I'm the best in the world, and still kill it on this microphone in a way that nobody else at our weight class can. Look, there's a lot of fighters out there. There ain't many stars at 125. And I truly believe, big platform, big opportunity. Look at what I did in 9 days' notice. I have the potential to not just be the biggest star in the flyweight division, but 100,000% be the biggest star in the sport today. All I need is the opportunity and the platform to do it.
I know you are of South African descent. Were you born in South Africa?
No, I was born in the States, but my mom moved to South Africa when she was 19 years old to escape apartheid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean she moved to the U.S.?
Sorry. Yeah, she moved to the U.S. Yeah.
Okay. And you reside in Jersey, but do you train in Long Island or no more?
So I born and raised in Jersey.
Okay.
18, moved to Long Island. Now I live in Vegas. Now that I have a little bit of money, maybe I can go back and forth between Vegas and New York, but I live primarily in Vegas.
Okay.
Train with Mateus Nakashe, Aljamain Sterling, a lot of great guys who we have coming out of that camp, man. That camp is Team Nakashe, it's growing, you know what I'm saying? And now we train at the Q, so we have a great spot to train. I got great training partners, and man, we're getting better every day.
Who introduced you to MMA, and how old were you when you got into it?
It's funny, man. I started as a pro wrestling fan.
Okay.
And I watched Ken Shamrock when I was a kid. And, obviously my brothers are much older than me, so I was watching the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That was the golden era to me, man.
Yeah.
I was watching Undertaker, Stone Cold. My oldest brothers are Bret Hart fans, so I was always watching him. And I knew who Ken Shamrock was. One day I'm flipping through the channels, and I was a boxing fan, a kickboxing fan as a kid. I'm 12 years old at this point. And I see Ken Shamrock fighting Tito Ortiz in a cage. And I'm like, dude, what the? Like, I seen boxing gloves before. I seen PKA kickboxing, but I'd never seen MMA. And I'm watching this. I'm like, dude, Ken Shamrock is doing this for real? Like, he's really fighting right now?
Yeah.
And, I was at that age able to even just turn around and see the technique behind it. I didn't see human cockfighting and, bear brawl, fighting the way other people were. I saw Tito Ortiz was taking him down with technique. Ken Shamrock was trying to use technique to get up and fight back, and it really intrigued me, man. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I saw them wrap that belt around Tito Ortiz's waist, and I was like, that's what I want right there. That belt that's my dream.
And you didn't train, like you had wrestling background, but not like no martial arts or anything like that?
No, at 12 years old, I didn't really have much of a background in anything.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I just was an athlete. I loved running around. I maybe take a couple kickboxing classes every now and again just to work out. But at that point, no experience. I was just a kid with a dream.
And so when do you get to Serra-Longo?
That was 18 years old. Moved out to Long Island. Went
For
to
that reason or no?
No. My mom was like, bro, you going to school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to get away from Jersey, so I went to Hofstra. And it's funny, I was like looking at, I was just looking up gyms. So I typed in Long Island MMA. And then obviously, you know, I think LaFleur's gym came up.
Yeah.
But then as I was like there in that area, I saw Longo's is in walking distance, and I didn't have no car. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? I was just a broke college kid with a dream. So I would just walk to the gym, and it's funny, man. Longo tells this story. I go there with the money to sign up. Longo, as cool as he is, he's like, bro, save your money. Don't care to see if you like it first. And even that night, I took his class. It was a great class. Ally Quinto was actually there. He's sitting on the couch at the edge of the mat.
What year are we talking here?
We're talking 2013.
Okay.
This is like maybe late August, early September 2013.
Okay. Chris Weidman's UFC champion, I believe.
This was Chris Weidman. Bro, I got to see Chris Weidman's whole camp getting ready for Anderson
The
Silva
first one or second?
The second one.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, to this day, I'd never seen anyone work harder than that dude at that camp, man. Like, and this is no disrespect to anyone I've seen train, but that dude was a dog. And it's funny enough, like Ray Longo's like, look, I know you walked here. We're going to send you on a ride home. You're not walking home. And funny enough, Chris Weidman drove me home in his truck that night.
After the first one?
After my first day of practice,
That's great.
Chris Weidman drove me home in his
UFC
truck.
champion.
Man. Dude, I'm starstruck.
Yeah.
He's trying to talk to me. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And man, it's
wild.
crazy to look all these years later, where I've come and where I've ended up. Man, it's all been a blessing, man.
Man, what a journey. 13 years from that point.
And now you see why I have a smile on my face.
Yeah.
It can't get me down. I'm blessed just to be here, and I've been through it all, and the ride is still going.
Was there any part of you, maybe at the press conference, maybe at the weigh-ins, maybe Saturday, you're like, I freaking made it, man. Look at these people here.
100%.
That must have felt great.
From the press conference to the weigh-ins, and I don't know if my team could kind of tell, but I was filming the locker room, me walking into the locker room and stuff like that on a Netflix show. And dude, I had to stop myself from tearing up because it was like, man, like I finally made it to the big show. I finally get to show the world my skills, man. And I didn't want to cry in front of anyone, man. Like I do get emotional sometimes, but I hold it all in. You know what I'm saying? Which could be good or bad depending on who you talk to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need a therapist. I don't know.
No, man.
But
I appreciate you having that perspective to kind of smell the flowers. And this is before the fight.
And this is us walking into the locker room. And the locker room, the way it was set up, man, like they had the lights, you had the MVP on the logo, and I think they put me in Gina Carano's locker room. This is before she got there.
Yeah.
So I'm in like the locker room. Nice locker room in the Inuit Dome, you know what I'm saying? So it was just such a cool experience. Obviously, stopped myself from tearing up. Had to get down to business. And even when I was walking out there, man, like the nerves were there. But at the end of the day, I was just enjoying every second of it because I'd worked so hard to get there, you know?
One thing that's been talked about a lot, and I was actually thinking about this when I was watching all the fights on Saturday. You know those lights that were on the seats?
Yeah.
That everyone's going crazy about because they think no one was in attendance, but it was just because it made the seats look black. Yeah. I was wondering if you guys were bothered by them because they were kind of flashing. I know you're looking at your opponent, but there's still lights, all these lights behind you. Was that annoying at all, or are you so locked in?
Not at all, man.
Okay.
The lights over top are just shining so bright on the canvas. You got no choice but to just focus on the opponent. That was good.
Okay. What about the cage? Smaller than you expected? Bigger?
Yeah, smaller than I expected. It definitely wasn't like UFC pay-per-view size cage. Maybe closer to the Apex or closer to what I fought in for A1 Combat. But maybe that makes for more action. I don't know. Regardless, I knew it was going to be a small cage. So we just adjust, we fight, and that's it.
Yeah, man. And so you feel like there's been sort of like a tangible difference, the way people are talking about you reaching out. Yeah. There's good that has come, obviously, from this.
Yeah.
And so in a perfect world, when do you fight again? When would you like to fight again? I know you said like you'll fight next week and stuff like but like no injuries, right? You're all good.
Do I look injured?
No, I don't know if there's something
I'm telling you,
the hand, I don't know.
Yeah, my hand's a little bruised up, but this is fighting, bro. This is a hurt business. Nothing's broken. Just gotta ice it. You know what I'm saying? I can run, I could grapple, I could go live right now. I'm in shape. I'll tell you right now, Adriano Moraes is probably in that hotel or wherever he's at everyone was telling me he was bruised up, he was beat up, his face was all mangled up. Come on, baby, I'm still the prettiest fighter out there, man. You know what I'm saying? So I can go next week. Obviously, where I fight next has got to be a big show. You know what I'm saying? With all due respect to A1, CFFC, all those guys, they've helped me out so much. You know what I'm saying? LFA, Peak, they've elevated my career to a certain point, gotten me so much experience. But I think right now, it's either MVP or it's UFC, but it's got to be a big show. You know?
No flyweight in PFL, right? Is that why? I consider 35 for them?
I've actually gotten a good offer for them in the past, and that was the reason why I had to decline. Is I can't see myself right now at 135 pounds. Maybe later, maybe, I eat a couple Twinkies or, my muscle mass grows a little bit. I grow older into, my bones get a little denser or something. But right now, man, not only am I 125er, but I'm the best 125er, and I feel like I got to show that out there.
You're kind of the walking embodiment of why shows like this one, and it doesn't have to be MVP, but why there needs to be more shows out there. Because here's a guy who's very good, who just wasn't getting the opportunity for whatever reason. You get the opportunity on another big show, and you make a name for yourself. There just can't be one show in town in the sport. That's not the way combat sports is supposed to be structured. And so, to me, like a lot of the people, there were a couple of people who maybe weren't quote-unquote household names going into Saturday, but I feel like you, Namo, Fazil, you guys took the opportunity to be on this big stage, and people were talking about you afterwards, and that's why we need those other shows. And so you seize the moment is basically what I'm trying to say.
Oh, thank you so much, man. And for that to come from you, you know what I'm saying? I'm an old school head, you know what I'm saying? I know I look young and all that, but you're our Howard Cosell. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it, man. You're very knowledgeable about the sport. You've been around for a long time, so for that to come from you, man, means a lot. Seriously.
And the fight, I mean, like I said, I've heard a lot about you, but the fight was great. Like it was the fight of the night. Back and forth you guys went. The ending was one of the most unique endings that I've ever seen, for better or worse. It was wild. Like you couldn't script anything better than that. You know what I mean? So massive kudos to you. And as far as the wrestling is concerned, because I'm so interested in that, do you want to try to get to one of the big dogs? Do you want to try to get to an AEW or WWE, or are you happy with where you're at?
I mean, look, man, as of right now, I'm definitely happy with where I'm at. House of Glory, that's the promoter right there. My boy Brian, you know what I'm saying?
What's up, man?
And like I said, this Friday we got a show. I want to wrestle the best professional wrestler out there that's willing to come down to Queens on Friday and come get this work. And
where's the venue, by the way?
It's going to be at the NYC Arena, Jamaica, Queens, in New York. Come through. I think the show starts at 7 o'clock. Is that right? You know what I'm saying?
Right
so there's a poster. I'm going to be there. Hopefully we can get the best guy out there. And that way I can put on the best performance. But for me, it's like I said earlier, I want to be the Bo Jackson of this sport. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that Deion Sanders. There's a lot of great mixed martial artists out there. And there's a lot of great professional wrestlers out there. Who else do you know in the history of the game has done both at the same time and kill it? I just fought Adriano Moraes, 9 days notice, on a card that is the most watched card in MMA history, and put on a show. Now, 1 week later, less than a week later, still looking pretty, not bruised up, not beat up, I'm hopping in there again with a great wrestler who we're going to find, and I'm going to show I can kill it there too. Nobody on planet Earth in the history of either sport, I believe, has done anything like that. And that's why I want to separate myself from the pack. I want to do something that no one's ever done before. If it's UFC, I want to be the first person to hold the belt in the UFC and WWE at the same time. If I don't get that opportunity and they don't call, well, then you know what? I want to be the first person to hold the belt for MVP MMA and AEW. Regardless, I want to do something that's never been done. I want to be the biggest star in both sports at the same time. And I know a lot of people will doubt me. A lot of people will hate on me. A lot of people will say I'm cocky, can't do it. But right now, on 9 days notice, I did what no one else would do. And this Friday, I'm going to do it again.
I love it.
Completely another sport.
By the way, why do they call you Turbo?
It's funny, man. I actually used to rush a lot of my techniques. So my coach would tell me, like, throw a 1, 2, 3, and I would try and throw it so fast it would look like garbage. And, Eric Heyer gave me the nickname. And, one day I was doing that whole thing, and he was like, bro, slow down there, Turbo.
Okay.
And eventually it just stuck.
I like it. All right, you're so good at promos. Before we go, cut a promo on Adriano Moraes. Look into the camera right here.
Which camera am I looking
at? This one right here.
Yeah.
Tell Adriano Moraes how you feel about everything, about the rematch, the offer, whatever you want to do. This is your time to shine. You, Adriano Moraes.
Look, Adriano Moraes, eye to eye, man to man, you and I both know you lost that fight. There's a reason why in the back room you barely wanted to look at me. There's a reason why when I called for the rematch, you said, oh yeah, maybe if they offer you. There's a reason why when we were in that octagon, before the fight even started, you couldn't even look me in my eyes. I'm the best flyweight in the world. You know it. I know it. Hey, even your corner man, Pedro Munoz, knows it. At the end of the day, you had to cheat to get that dub. You Husmar Paul Juarez'd me. Now, whether the appeal goes through or not, man to man, mano y mano, in your heart, you know you couldn't beat me on 9 days' notice. So I know you're going to run from this fight. I know you probably won't want to step in there with me again. But Nakisa, if you can make that fight happen on MVP MMA 2, let's make the rematch happen. The fans want it. I want it. And Adriano Moraes, don't run from me, Papa. You're going to have to get this work, and we're going to find out who really won again. Man of the people, the people's champion is coming from Turbo, Phumi Nkuta.
Fucking love it, man. Well done. Sorry to your mom for swearing. We don't get a lot of mic work like that.
She can't get mad at me. She'll get mad at you.
All right, my mom will get mad at me. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Congratulations on a great week. So great to meet you finally after hearing about you for so long. Great fight. And good luck on Friday as well at House of Glory. Tell Jason I say hi if he's in the house.
We'll do. Hey, come through, man.
I know. I need to come through.
Yeah.
We'll
see. I'm not holding.
I know you guys did a show in Vegas as well. And if I was going to go to Vegas for WrestleMania, I was going to come, but then I didn't end up going. But one of these days, I will be there. Thank you very much. Sure. Appreciate it. We'll take a quick break. Say goodbye to Phumi. Back with your super chats, news, and notes. Don't go anywhere. I am so excited to have our next guest in studio. It has been almost 4 years. Not 4 years since we last spoke. Not just 4 years since we last had him in studio. 4 long years since we had any interaction of any kind. I don't know what happened. What went wrong? We had a couple of bangers in the year 2022, and then that was it. Discarded, forgotten about. But our long international nightmare is over. He is the generational talent. He is the former AEW heavyweight champion. He is the man they call the Big Hebrew. He is the one and only Maxwell Jacob Friedman. What the hell? Where have you been?
How you doing, my friend? We're doing a hug. Fuck it.
Mazel tov.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wow.
Last time I saw you, I definitely wasn't married, right?
You were.
I think I was 26 the last time we were in studio.
I had 2 less kids last time I saw you. 2022.
Oh my God.
Where have you been?
Busy.
I know.
As you know, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff about how great I am.
Yes.
You know. So
you look fantastic, by the way.
I mean, how could I not? Right? Jeez.
The hair looks amazing.
It feels amazing too.
It does.
I've been trying this new conditioner.
Okay.
And
can you talk into the microphone? My audio guy's getting very upset.
I guess.
Yeah.
How's this?
Yeah.
You know what? So you're going to the left.
That's terrific. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's Frank.
What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. That's a weird name for God.
It's actually Frank. He was afraid. He was afraid that you would roast him.
Okay. Fair. We were talking about my hair?
Yeah, before he interrupted us, yes.
Yeah, that was a little rude, wasn't it?
It was rude.
Yeah,
He gets a little too big.
I honestly thought I was schizophrenic for 2 seconds there. I was like, that's new.
It's so good to see you, Maxwell.
It's good to see you too.
Come on.
You know?
What happened to us? 2022, we were firing on all cylinders. We had 2 bangers in the span of like...
It was quick. It was back to back.
Yeah.
I think you got in hot water.
I did. Like a month later.
I think you got in hot water, my boss. Yeah. And it seems to me like things are good now.
That picture that we took, the handshake picture.
Oh yeah,
it was big time.
That was a big moment. That was a big moment for everybody. It was an emotional moment for Tony and an emotional moment for you.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah. Listen, no interview's ever going to be as good as like when I'm not in the room.
Sure.
But for an interview that didn't have me in it, it was a good watch.
I thought it was a nice mending of the fences.
Yeah, and I also think it showed the evolution, frankly, of my boss as an interviewee. You know,
I agree.
I think he faces questions head on. I think that he took all your questions on the chin and answered them in a very professional manner. I think he continues to be incredibly professional even when bullshit's happening around him and lies are being spread. So I'm happy for him.
Has he evolved as a boss as well?
Yeah, man. The fact of the matter is look, do I love the guy? No, but I love money. And I also love seeing my company do well, and we're white hot right now. Now, is that all because of me? There's an argument to be made there. But I also am willing to say that, you know, Tony Khan is, in case you're unaware, he's a billionaire.
Multi.
Do you know that?
Right?
Do you know that?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And for him to be a billionaire and decide to, with his money and his time, when he could be sticking with the as they call it, football thing, or the other football thing that's in America, that's the type of football that I prefer. And he could just be doing that, but he decided to start a professional wrestling company because he's so passionate about professional wrestling and he loves professional wrestling. And he's become one of the best minds in wrestling, man. And he's been a great leader, and you can talk all the shit you want about him. Why, I don't know, because he gave you an alternative so you wouldn't have to only be eating one type of food. You have options now. I don't know why anybody would be mad about options. That'd be like if me and my wife ate Italian every night and she was like, how about sushi? And I just spat on her. Like, that'd just be a weird reaction, you know? So yeah, I think he's become an incredible leader too, man. And he always was, but I just think he is really, really just, as we all do, you know, we level up, we evolve as we age.
It's so funny that you talked about it. You're actually one of the first people to talk to me about tribalism.
Yeah.
And just this past weekend, another MMA promotion dared to put on an event.
How dare you?
And I equated it to the reaction to AEW by the WWE fans. All right, that guy cuts a mean promo. That guy cuts a mean promo. A lot of people liked the chat with MJF, as did I. Love the chat with Phumi, and as I said, this is why you need other promotions out there. It's just good to have opportunities for the guys and gals. So let's see. I'd love to see that fight again. If you didn't watch it, it was it wasn't the headliner on the prelims. I think it was second to last. The headliner was Namo against Jake Babian, but it was up there. It was a great fight, and the ending was very wacky. I maintain that it should have gone the distance into the scorecards. All right, news and notes. Michael Morales on IG saying what? What is he saying? He's posting this. I always create my own luck, and that's why I'll be the next champion. And that is the 15th of August, 2026. Now, I have a hard time believing that he is leapfrogging Ian Gary, but truth be told, crazier things have happened, and I have not checked in. Last I heard, it's still Ian. I have not checked in, so perhaps things have changed. It would make a lot of sense, though, to have him compete on that same card. So let's see. I'm going to check in on this. Maybe I'll do it in between some of our chatter here. I'll do it. What about Dricus Duplessis? Dricus Duplessis weighing in on the Khamzat Chimaev troublesome weight cut. Let's see what Dricus Duplessis had to say.
Yeah, I think this whole weight cut excuse is ridiculous, to be honest with you. So Ricky said he cut 12 pounds in the 24 hours. Yeah. Those are rookie numbers. 12 pounds in 24 hours, that's not that bad.
I think it was 46 in total.
In total, but I mean, over the camp, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is that last 24 hours, and 12 pounds is not that much. I mean, I definitely got more than that. And yeah, sometimes I've had bad weight cuts too. 1 kilogram can make the world difference in a weight cut. Using a weight cut as an excuse when it comes to the fight, even if you did have a bad weight cut, it's fine. It's happened to all of us. But you don't go out and say, oh, I lost the fight because of that. No. If you want to change weight divisions, change weight divisions. But blaming a bad weight cut is like saying, I lost the fight because I wasn't fit. It's on you. Be more disciplined. Any excuse for me, when you get into the octagon, there is no excuse. There is no excuse. If you went in there with a big injury, you made the decision to fight. If the injury was so severe, don't take the fight. Yeah. Be a man and take your loss like a man. Don't make any excuses. There are no excuses. This wasn't. I think a lot of aura was lost in that. And is this going to break him, or is this going to motivate him to say, listen, I can't just rely on my wrestling. I need to fight MMA because That is at the end of the day where the sport is heading. Yeah. The wrestling guys, they've been so dominant that everybody's starting to catch up. For Hamzat, I think he said he wants to go to 205, the easier route for sure. I think, just to take off the burden of a weight cut. But he said he's moving up to 205 to Dana, but now he's calling Strickland for a rematch. I don't think he deserves a rematch. He definitely doesn't because he has no title defenses. 0. So it doesn't justify a rematch at all.
Later in that same interview, Dricus says that he has a fight and that it will be announced in short order. I wonder if that fight is against someone who fought Khamzat and is a former champion. Anyway, I don't think Michael Morales is going to get that title shot, but I do think Ian is. But they still haven't announced it yet. They just announced the July 11th main event, so I'm feeling like that's the next big one that's going to come out, I would think. Let's see. Now, Mr. Dana White was doing an interview with our friend Rich Kleiman, who has done a podcast from this very studio in the past for his great boardroom platform, and they were doing an interview about a whole host of things, and one of the things that they talked about was, of course, the White House card, which is less than a month away now, June 14th, a Sunday night to be exact. I loved our conversation about whether or not any portion of the card is going to air on CBS or Paramount Plus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, Dana actually brought up something really interesting that I had not thought of and something that he experienced while recently being at the White House. Really interesting stuff, and I'm curious to see how they're going to combat it. Here's what he had to say.
Success will be this. Obviously, the thing gets pulled off. Yeah. As far as production goes, with close to no hitches, we have to worry about. So, the weather. Yeah. Right? How cold is it? Is it too hot? Is it too muggy? Does it rain? The only thing that can really crush us is lightning. Yep. Everybody, you all have kids that have played soccer or whatever. As soon as lightning hits, shut it down. It's a wrap. Everybody's got to go hide, and then you can't go. So if lightning happens that night, we'll wait out the lightning until it goes away, and we'll do the show a little bit later or however that plays out. Hopefully none of that shit happens. The other problem that I always think about, especially on the East Coast, bugs. Yeah. So President Trump just opened the Rose Garden 2 nights ago, and he invited me to dinner there. Yep. The amount of gnats that were flying around, I'm like, holy shit. As soon as I got on the plane, I called my head of production and said, let me tell you about the gnat situation tonight. So when you're a fighter, think about that lighting grid, the claw that we're going to have, the amount of power in the lights. Moths, gnats, and God knows what else. Fighters trying to deal with that. So
this is actually a really, really good point and somewhat terrifying. My kids play soccer in like this huge open field, and often their practices will go to like 7:38, and there'll be these like massive, I don't know, what are these things called? Like the sort of stadium lights, but they bring them out, generator, all that stuff. The amount of bugs that are surrounding this thing when I pick them up, it's insane, and it actually grosses me out. I'm like, did this not bother you? And they're kids, they don't care. But what if that actually does happen? And if it did happen in that region where he was at an event, why wouldn't it happen in a month or so from now? How the hell are they going to combat this?
Kleiman does mention, actually, if you recall, the Jabba Chamberlain situation from when the Yankees played the Indians and the Nats or whatever they were called.
I remember that. I remember that. That was awful in Cleveland. And he was like was CC Sabathia pitching for Cleveland in that game?
I don't know if he pitched in that game, but
for some reason
at that time.
Yeah, you only care about the
Listen,
the
it was
Yankee
a loss
side
and derailed Jabba's career.
Did it really?
I mean, they tried to make him a starter, but
Right.
That was kind of the downfall.
But honestly, could you imagine fighting someone and there's just bugs everywhere? What do you even do? You put like a net over the cage?
They have trucks where they can do treatments to the days leading up to it. Growing up in Houston, those trucks came like once a week because of mosquito problems.
Like they would spray?
Yeah, and like you need to be inside when they spray because it's like pretty intense.
Organic?
Absolutely not.
Also, I don't think it always works that well because they do that in Brooklyn too when there's still mosquitoes out.
Right. So what the hell? Could you
and
imagine?
I don't know if you guys have ever been in DC in the summer. It's kind of swampy, and gnats are definitely a possibility.
It is amazing because we all know Dana has said this. He doesn't shy away from this.
It's a great point.
He hates outdoor shows. Even if I remember, so there's only been one outdoor show in the history of the UFC, and it was UFC 112, actually that show in Abu Dhabi. I was lucky enough to be there, and it was very hot. It was muggy, and I remember the fighters were sweating right away. Like I remember Phil Davis in his fight against Alexander Gustafsson was sweating right away. And so that was challenging, but that's just sort of the climate. There was nothing else going on. There wasn't like a sandstorm. It obviously didn't rain. It wasn't unbearable, the heat, and obviously it got cooler as the night went on. The rain is nerve-wracking enough. The gnats and all that stuff is just a whole other level of problem. And again, June 14th, I remember this day because it was my son's bar mitzvah last year, and that whole weekend it was raining. That whole weekend was raining just last year. So what happens? I'm sure they've thought of all of this, by the way. Like I'm sure they have every single, every single measure and scenario thought of. One thing he has said in other interviews, though, is if it does get, like, there could be a rain delay. So I think we said that the main card is going to start at 8, maybe, something like that. I think we looked that up one time. But what if this thing, like, gets rain delayed to, like, a 10 p.m. main card? And it's one thing for a football game or even a baseball game to a degree, although it does screw up the pitchers, no doubt about it. But could you imagine if you're a fighter and you think you're fighting at 7 o'clock and now all of a sudden you're fighting at 9 o'clock, or you think you're fighting at 9 o'clock and you're now fighting at 11 o'clock? That does kind of screw you up. Is it a, hey, the fight is off scenario? No, obviously not. But it does screw you up. Like you think you're about to go make that, it just started raining. Golly. To be honest, I'm not hoping for any of this. I'm not hoping for any of this. I think that this is...
Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, no. I'm not hoping for any... You think I'm hoping for this, Frank?
Not at all.
No.
You're not rooting for a plague of gnats to...
I'm not rooting for... no, I'm not.
None of us are rooting for that.
No, but come on. I'm sure there are people out there thinking that I am rooting for this. Like, I don't want... No, come on. Is it a naive thing to say that there are people that are rooting for this to be an utter disaster? Are you kidding me? Tied to, like, come on. Like, there's dudes on Twitter that their whole life is just, there's an obsession over politics and that side and this side.
I see what you're getting at now.
You don't think there are people that are praying that this is an absolute disaster and would be thrilled to see this go up in flames? Come on.
You're saying, like, because of their politics,
politically motivated.
1,000%.
Their affiliation to
1,000%.
That didn't even enter my mind, but now that you have said that, you're right.
1 million. You don't think that they'll have a massive chuckle? Oh my God! The cage fighting event that was planned for Donald Trump's birthday, in honor of the U.S.'s 250th birthday, got completely thrown off, canceled, whatever, was infested by gnats. They would love it. They would love nothing
You're
more.
Right. I actually had not even thought that way.
I could see the John Oliver monologue now. Like I could literally see it. I could literally see it. These idiots, these buffoons, decided to put on an event, and this is what happens. The presidential gods were laughing at them, of course. But I just wanted to make it clear that I am not one of those people at all. If anything, because like I would feel awful for the fighters. Could you imagine? A fight getting canceled. And what if, like, the Masters? There's been a couple times recently where the Masters. I remember the final round of the Masters was on a Monday because of rain. Within the last 5 to 7 years, could you imagine if there's like what? Just throwing it out there, like a huge storm on the 14th. Would they do it on the 15th?
No, you just tarp it and fight the elements.
No.
If it's a lightning storm.
Yeah. No, I think they would actually
move the event.
No, they would delay it. Can you even delay it?
I was going to say, if you're on the White House, you can't. Also, wait in. You're on the White House lawn. How many days do you have that for?
Yeah. I don't think you can just occupy the White House
It's
lawn.
a question that I think someone should ask Dana White. Do they have an arena on standby?
I would imagine that they have some kind of thing.
That's such a nightmare, though.
Even if you move the fights into the ballroom and nobody can watch, and you figure out a way to just still have the fights, I think that's probably what you do.
No.
No what?
If no one can watch, that's such a disaster.
Sorry, I mean like in person.
Okay. I thought you meant.
I meant like a crowd.
I thought you meant like you
no.
stream it.
You have to, but I think the more important thing is this event has to happen.
Is the ballroom done?
Good news,
Build
Capital
it.
One Arena has no events until September.
There you go.
Jeez, really? No concerts or anything?
Yeah,
According to their website, yeah.
Fuck, it's tough. Pray
Damn.
for the Capital One Arena.
The Capital One Arena.
Sorry, the MCI Center for you.
I actually prefer the Verizon. Was it? No, it wasn't called the Verizon. What was the original name? Was it the MCI?
It was MCI, yeah.
I think it was Verizon at one point.
Yeah, it was, right?
Yeah.
MCI, I think, is first, though, no? It doesn't matter.
That is kind of crazy for a major arena not to have a single thing booked for the next 4 months. I have a hard time believing that.
I've been to a concert at that arena. I feel like they got to have something.
Yeah. That's actually where
Jordan just checked.
It was MCI Center first.
Okay.
Then
As I said,
Verizon
come on.
Center.
Then Verizon. Okay. That's the arena where Mr. John Cena had his retirement match. Anyway, this is going to be very interesting. It's really, I mean, credit to him for even bringing it up. I didn't even think of it. I don't think anyone actually thought of it, to be honest. Very, very, very interesting to see how that plays out and what they do. What are the backup plans? I'll be honest, I didn't see the whole interview. I don't know if he goes into it later in the interview. I'm sure they have contingency plans and all that stuff already. And I have a feeling deep down inside that Dana White and the entire staff cannot wait. You know, I always joke, I can't wait for June 15th. I bet they can't wait for June 15th. I bet that they can't wait to just get back to regular. This has consumed their lives. He's talked about Craig Borsari, head of production, how this has been the only thing he's worked on for the past year. And there's a pressure involved in making it special, and the lights, the glitz, the glamour, all that stuff and more. The presentation, I still think that at least 1 hour of it should air on CBS, but there's a lot at stake here. And then you follow that up with a Conor McGregor card.
I feel like we heard something similar regarding the Sphere, you know, where it's like, we want to do this, it's going to be fantastic, but when it's over, I can't wait and get back to the regular programming.
Yep. There was some breaking news yesterday. I mean, it was yesterday, but... It's actually it's disturbing news. It's regarding Logan Storley, the PFL fighter. This is according to a report. A professional mixed martial arts fighter was arrested in Key West early Monday morning after police say he sexually battered a woman in the street while wearing no clothes before being stopped by the manager of a nearby strip club who witnessed the incident. Logan Storley, who up until earlier this month fought as a welterweight under contract with the Professional Fighters League, which is broadcasted on ESPN, was booked into Monroe County's main jail on Stock Island on one count of sexual battery. A clerk at the jail said Tuesday he has since been released on a $50,000 bond. That is the mugshot. Logan Storley, of course, Bellator fighter, PFL fighter. We were talking about this yesterday, the difference between sexual battery and sexual assault. I want to get this right. Okay, was that on air or off air, Frank? Okay, the main difference, this is according to Google, the main difference is the scope. Sexual assault is a broad umbrella term for any non-consensual sexual contact or behavior. Sexual battery is a specific criminal charge that legally requires unwanted physical contact, often specifically involving the touching of intimate body parts or the use of force. Often you hear about sexual assault, not sexual battery, so I was curious what the difference was. So there you have it. That's the news that came out yesterday regarding Logan Storley. I have not seen any further updates regarding anything. Has the PFL said anything? I have not seen PFL. They have like a public relations feed. Let's see if they've said anything here. PFL_PR, no. Their last tweet was 7 days ago. They do have an event this weekend, and that's in Belgium. And it is, I'd say kind of flying under the radar, but it's maybe not geared towards this particular audience, although Benson Henderson is fighting against Patrick Habirora. And I love watching Patrick fight. And he's fighting in Brussels. And that is going to be a scene. When he fought in Lyon, it was an incredible scene. I'm very much looking forward to this. And he should win. I think he's expected to win. And I think that it's a fight that is being, made for him to look good against a recognizable name. And so the Usyk-Verhoeven fight is on Saturday. That's at 11 a.m. It's on DAZN. Is it on DAZN pay-per-view? It doesn't say here. It's always very hard.
I think it's just on the app.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tremendous. So Usyk-Verhoeven. Hamza Shiraz is on the card as well. He's always fun. Jack Catterall. Richard Torres is on there. I love Richard Torres, of course, a top-ranked fighter, very well known here in the United States, or at least someone that a lot of people are excited about here in the United States. Mizuki Hirota. So not a bad card at all. And obviously the main event is supremely intriguing. PFL Brussels. That's at 12:30 on ESPN here in America. Taylor Lapilus against Jake Hadley on the card as well. Yeah, a bit of a... Oh, Joe Schilling is on here. Rick, did you know that?
I did not. But shout out to Joe.
Joe Schilling is on here.
Pitch him up, legend.
Yo, when's the last time Joe Schilling fought in MMA? He fought Luke Rockhold in Karate Combat in 24.
That's MMA-ish.
Sure. His last MMA fight was 2019 in Bellator.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe Schilling? Wow. Shout out. I had no idea.
Two Glory guys.
Yeah. Wait, who would the other one be? Rico?
Rico Verhoeven. Yeah.
Different card, yeah. PFL MENA on Sunday. And that's all as far as somewhat major combat sports is concerned. Do we have any super chats, Mr. Frankie? Super chats.
We do. And to start us off is Nick Swinierski, 83. Thank you, boy, Danhausen. He cursed the Cavs. Very nice. Very evil.
Listen, I'm telling you. I will bow down to anyone who is helping make all of this happen. And so Danhausen, shout out to you. And honestly, for the character, or the man behind the character, I should say, this dude must be on cloud 9 right now. Danhausen, and by all accounts, everything that I've heard about Danhausen is that he's like a really, really good guy. He honors every commitment. He's great with kids. MJF spoke very highly of him. He just seems like a good dude. So imagine being a sort of fixture on the indie scene. You get the AEW opportunity. Now you're in the big league, so to speak. You're in WWE, not to suggest they're big. You get what I'm trying to say. It's WWE, and there's some doubt as to whether or not the gimmick will resonate. And not only has it resonated in a really big way, you're now being associated with the NBA playoffs and the New York Knicks of all teams, and this market and ESPN and all that. I mean, like, this is a dream scenario for the guys. So well done, well done. And yes, I give him all the credit in the world. Thank you. Thank you so much, Danhausen. Oh yes, here's an article on Uncrowned. Danhausen and the WWE-loving Knicks, a beginner's guide to the curse carrying New York to the precipice of the NBA Finals. Are we on the precipice after one game? I guess just being
in the series, you're on the precipice.
Okay, fair enough. And that's from our boy Anthony, who does a tremendous job for Uncrowned and all things Yahoo Sports. Love being a part of the site as well. But yeah, it's a big deal. I'm going to game 2, guys. That is confirmed.
Wow.
So, yes.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
I'll let you know. Do I email the ticket or what do we do? Or you're busy?
That's.com.
Oh, me? Yeah, okay. For sure. Yeah, let me get the ticket.
I do want to let you know.
I'm getting offended now.
I did get
Yeah, but
I did get a text from a mutual friend of ours who's a big fan of yours.
Who is it?
Who may have attended the game yesterday. And he said, love Rick, mess with Rick, but we ain't down with Cleveland Rick for the next couple weeks.
I understand it totally.
Just that's... what else, Frankie? Yes, please.
For the city, a Knicks win will be better.
You probably have more Knicks fans in your life.
I'm in group chats getting destroyed by every one of my friends.
So I'm keeping it cordial.
Yeah. Totally.
Were your friends killing you yet last night?
Yes, because I've been on this East Sucks thing, and they're like, "Yeah, eat that shit." And so, yeah, it's getting rough out there.
Do you respond? What do you do?
Yeah, just smack them hard. Like, I've also been cordial. I don't say half the anti-Nick shit to you that I say to them.
Okay,
not even remotely close.
Appreciate that.
What was the Cleveland Rick thing yesterday? He was out of the room when you're like saying you're Cleveland Rick.
Oh, he wasn't
because
even
of
there.
Sean Kemp
That's so.
is 'cause-
I said because you're a Cleveland fan because of Sean Kemp.
He played for them at that time.
Yeah. So I said that's like someone saying you're a Mets fan because of Willie Mays. That's like someone saying you're a Magic fan.
No
because
doubt,
of
it was
Patrick
the worst
Ewing.
part of his run. It's not even remotely close. It was a debacle. He got fat in the.
That's like
in
someone
the
saying they're
lockout.
a Dolphins fan because of Thurman Thomas.
Yeah, but now that was such ancient history.
It's just
I
a
have been
funny
there for
genesis.
100%, no doubt. He is a Seattle Supersonic, no
Through
doubt
and through.
in
Like
the
when
world.
you see him in that black and blue Cavs uniform.
Okay, well, he looked good in that the
It was
first
weird.
season, the first All-Star season. Then the second one.
It can be added to that edit of just like all of the like Shaq on the Celtics,
100%.
Thierry Henry on the New York Reds.
Okay, it wasn't
exactly
that bad. No, it wasn't like cup of coffee. He was still an NBA All-Star. Let's not get silly
You
here.
watched the Jailblazers doc
Patrick
on-
Ewing in the Magic jersey
Is awful.
was a debacle.
Did you watch the Jailblazers doc?
I have not seen it. No.
I totally forgot that he went from the Sonics
Oh, yeah.
to the
He was-
Blazers. I
yes.
forgot about the
Yes.
Blazers run. I forgot about that.
No. It wasn't Sonics to Blazers.
Was it not?
Blazers was after.
After what? After the Cavs?
Yes, Cavs
Okay,
was.
so maybe. Anyway, they don't even talk about that. I just assumed it was Sonics to Blazers. But yes, they talk about acquiring him and how big of a bust he was on the Blazers and whatnot. So maybe yeah, you're probably right. I just totally forgot about. I always remembered. I always remembered the Cavs era because yes, you're right. He was good for I think that 1 year.
He was an All-Star, and then they had the lockout, and he became 350 pounds, and then that was the end of it. It was fucking horrible.
Did they? I know they played the Knicks in the '96 playoffs. Was he on that team? Let me see here.
No. He didn't get there till 98, 99.
97, 98. Okay, so they played him. They played in 95, 96. He was already. Yeah. So then he went Cleveland 3 years, and then Portland.
Yeah.
And shout out Orlando as well.
God, when he was on Orlando, he looked like tractor trailer.
Stop.
No, I'm not kidding. If you Google
Not nice.
Magic
I know.
Kemp, it's rough scenes. That one is the one that you're actually talking about. Sean Kemp in a Magic jersey, that's the actual like holy fuck, this actually happened.
Montana on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is, right? It's
mean,
a little Montana. On
Yeah. Not the Cavs one though. I feel like we're rewriting history.
Matt Ryan on the Colts.
That's the Magic one? Oh man.
Come on.
God, good God almighty.
Stop, man. Kemp's a legend, man.
Kemp is a fucking legend, man.
He's the Rain Man.
He's the OG dunker. He's the original.
The best.
Highlight,
Him and Peyton together. What else, Frankie? What else?
Lucid AFC. Arsenal are champions of the Prem.
Oh, yeah.
Ariel can't call us bottlers anymore like he has various times this year. I hope one day you also feel this joy.
That's very kind of you. Tomorrow we have our third episode of our Premier League series, and it's a lot about Arsenal, so please do check that out. And in that episode, I do sing something that I can sing for at least the next 10 or so days. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. They've never won the Champions League, but of course they're in the final, so all the jokes can subside forever if they pull that off. I don't think they're the favorite, right? Are they the favorite in that one? Probably not. Against PSG?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's close.
Ooh, they are. They're plus 240. No, plus 230. Draw is a plus 240.
Well, Arsenal. I'm sorry, I was reading right off the screen. Arsenal is a plus 240.
Plus 230. Draw is a plus 240. How could there be a draw in the final? But anyway,
Yeah, I was
that's
going
what
to
it
say,
says.
what is it to lift the trophy?
It could be like they
Plus
do the
230.
90-minute bet. You could also do the whole game.
All right, to win the cup, PSG minus 145, Arsenal plus 120.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm looking at something else that says plus 220 right now.
I'm saying like to win the cup, that's extra time, everything. Whoever wins it all.
Okay. That's actually better.
Yeah, because then like if you bet Arsenal, but then it's draw and they're winning like PKs, then that one doesn't count.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, Jordan's saying you can bet the 90-minute regulation time.
Really?
Versus.
Yeah, that has burned me in the past when I didn't know that was a thing.
It's nasty work.
That is crazy.
Nasty work.
That
Be
is
careful what you bet.
Wow. Gosh, who knew?
Take a nice to win the cup just to be safe.
All right. What else, Frankie? What else?
Create like Mike. Congrats on a ring, Ariel, because when Rick is so certain in an outcome, it never plays
Wow.
out. So this might be it. As a Heat fan with a dozen Knicks fans friends, I'm happy for you. Knicks fans are the closest to football fans in the U.S.
Wow. I appreciate that. I actually feel like the Knicks have become like somewhat of a darling. I feel like, am I wrong? I know most like no one feels the Yankees are darlings because they've won a whole bunch of times. No one feels that way about the Giants. Even the Jets, I think people like to make fun of the Jets. But I feel like because the Knicks have suffered, I feel like because
Nah, people don't like
Jalen.
them.
What?
People don't like them. Too many celebrities. They do the TV shit outside the Garden.
Sure,
People
but
don't like them.
Jalen, Josh, OG.
People call
like,
Jalen a foul merchant. Nobody likes the
All right,
Knicks. I'm
maybe.
sorry.
Sorry.
Whatever
55
this
years plus, like there is something admirable about how the fan base gets into it.
Yeah, and by the way, I said that whole thing about the fans on this show. Now, as I said, make the finals, go crazy. Win the finals, go apoplectic. Now all bets are off. Although I do think it's weird. Like, why are they still saying F. Trey Young? Did you see that?
Yeah,
still in the head.
It's weird as hell.
That is bizarre. Like, give me an F. Donovan.
I saw we want Wemby. They're doing like the thing that they used to do with the Celtics. Like we want the Celtics. They want to smoke Wemby right now. So
I was at a Yankees game
how that
last year and they started chanting "fuck Trae Young."
We do have breaking news. Breaking news. This is from West Coast resident and EIC of Uncrowned Shaheen Al-Shadi, who says, hard disagree. Pretty much everyone on the West Coast is rooting for New York now.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound accurate.
Bastion of West Coast.
Yeah, he's got his ear to the
rooting
streets.
for the Knicks because of Bridges.
Yeah, what does Shaheen know about the
And we welcome him aboard this.
He is a diehard Bridges fan. He is a diehard.
Yeah,
I think we're abusing the breaking news.
What people on the West Coast are rooting?
If I was gonna rank how
You don't think LA fans are rooting for the Knicks?
We were there last week.
For
Nobody
what?
said anything.
They don't
about
want the Spurs or the Thunder to win.
But the
They hate those
Spurs at
guys.
least has like Wemby, who's like
Everybody's
is, like, the
rooting for
sweetheart.
Wemby.
Everybody wants Wemby to win. I feel like it would go Spurs, Knicks,
Thunder, Cavs.
Yeah, just because the Thunder are like you're
People
gonna
don't
get the
like the Thunder.
bandwagoners.
What hate do people have for the Oklahoma City
first of all,
Thunder?
Shea is a foul merchant.
Sonics fans. Everyone
They
hates.
flop.
Please.
They won last year. Once you win,
They won
everybody
last
hates
year.
He adds OKC is reviled.
Yep.
Most
we agree.
hate the Spurs, and no
Who
one cares
hates
about
the
Cleveland.
Spurs?
No one cares about Cleveland. He said Spurs.
No one cares. He's right about that one.
you. Yeah, no one gives a fuck about Cleveland.
They've won
cares about
four. When did they win? 4-5 in that era.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it was
but they have
so,
Wemby
like,
now. They're a young team. Everybody loves this.
I don't want
this.
Such
This is
ho hum titles.
yeah. No, this is horrible.
Tim Duncan.
They had an
Where are these Knicks fans in the West? I'd love to see them.
I will say in LA, walking around with my Knicks hat, a lot of people screaming at me, "Go Knicks!"
Transplanters.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
I
massive
don't
fan
know.
base.
I mean, they seem like LA residents.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, LA residents that formerly resided in New York.
We went to a Dodgers game and there wasn't anything but Dodgers.
One of the guys might have been driving his car wearing a Yankee hat.
Yeah,
You talk about that.
it was
Dodger fan
Shaheen.
base.
Shaheen was out there drumming up the West Coast support for the Knicks.
Let me tell you something. I feel like this team is the most beloved version of the Knicks in my lifetime. Like people did not like the Ewing Knicks because they were bullies and all this stuff.
Nah, the Lynn Knicks were
Okay, but I mean of the real championship.
Oh, that's not real for you. All right.
That wasn't
Yeah,
real.
shots
Oh,
to
wait,
Jeremy.
more here. Most over here view the Spurs as way too lucky with all this lottery crap. Just
Where's
speaking the
over
fact-
here?
Okay, but he's in the Suns
He's in the
country.
Sun. Yeah, he's a Suns
the
fan.
Arizona Bay.
He's speaking about the West Coast.
Hey,
That's
on
not the
behalf.
West Coast.
Oh, he's speaking about Phoenix, Arizona.
That's fine. Knicks are the underdog darlings. He adds as well.
He's
Like
just
minus
making this up.
500 to win the series.
Yeah,
He's making this shit up.
Shaheen's just giddy because we gave the website a plug. It's good for him.
Yeah.
He's 100% right.
He just keeps feeding nonsense.
All the Lakers
So it
fans
keeps going
talking
back.
about how
Making me
they
feel
love
great
the Knicks.
about
yeah.
life. What else, Frankie? What else?
Tyler Hill 40. You guys gotta take down UFC a peg.
Who's that? Like, who's he talking about? Is he?
All
is he?
of us as a collective.
But what does that mean?
Like we've been upping MVP. Now they're like, why don't you take a shot at the UFC?
Well, if we've been upping MVP, it feels like we would already be taking a shot at the
but
UFC.
even
We'll ask Tyler Hill 40 for
maybe
a
he's
rebuttal.
referring to Nakisa. I don't
Oh
know.
wait, I see this guy's name again. Create like Mike. So I'm always wrong. You and me create like Mike. We'll make a bet on Knicks versus Spurs or Thunder.
Wait, what's this? What's this?
That was the guy who said he's like celebrate Helwani. They're gonna win the ring because.
Oh, I got you. Listen,
let's do it. That
Peace
guy.
and love, peace and
Find me.
What
I'd
else,
love to make a
what
bet
else?
on the finals.
From Create Like Mike.
Yeah.
Dana rushed the Paramount Plus deal with the $7 million. Dana is short in the vision today. Do you think he regrets not taking the 13 Big Show deal after seeing the numbers?
No, absolutely not.
Also, $7 billion.
Yeah, what
not
the
a million.
fuck?
The cheddar makes it better, man. Like, what did he rush? He didn't rush
read it
anything.
wrong?
He got a massive deal.
Yeah, he's sitting there stewing that he's got $1.1 billion a year in just broadcast rights for the U.S.
The MVP show was a success. In 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, when the White House happens, no one will be talking about that anymore, and that will crescendo into a Conor McGregor card the very next month.
I did want to mention something that I saw Josh Gross tweet.
Okay.
A veteran MMA journalist who I do believe was at the event. He said, in regards to a clip that was tweeted out with Nakisa saying that the gate was 2.2 million plus, no non-UFC MMA event in the U.S. has produced a $2 million gate since Pride visited Las Vegas in 2006 and 2007. Of all the numbers to parse, this one might be the most impressive for MVP. To be clear, Affliction's first ever had a 2 million gate, but about a quarter of that was purchased by the promotion. So we'll see how MVP number stacks up when CSAC releases a breakdown. But I was told a few weeks out from the event that they surpassed 1 million and 2 million was possible. So,
Yeah, I wonder what the next biggest would be. The first one that came to mind was when Bellator did New York, and it said here, like Google is responding with this. I haven't had a chance to thoroughly vet this, 1.5 mil. Because I can't imagine anybody else is really doing an event that has a gate that high in MMA. So, yeah. Big gate.
What else, Frankie? What else?
Are you good, Rick?
No.
Sucker free. Since fences have been mended, have you considered reaching out to Colby about his retirement? Also, may I request my on-the-nose question be read from yesterday? I love you guys.
Oh, well, I thought we went through a lot. I have reached out to him, and I hope to have him on next week. So, want to get some clarity on where he stands, what that all means, etc. What else, Frankie? What else?
Alfaro Danny, Rico 1000% sparks Francis on the feet. Alistair is wrong. He's a freaking 13-time champion. Francis was struggling with Gon. Wrestling is barely okay.
Rico, wow. I was actually surprised at how dismissive he was.
Isn't that kind of what Alistair said, though? Was just like, why would he stay on the feet with him? He'll just wrestle him. Also,
It's MMA.
That guy pointed to he was
Blown
struggling
knee.
with Cyril Gahn. That was also with a blown knee against a mixed martial artist, not a kickboxer.
Yeah, but are we pretending like Francis Ngannou on one knee beating Cyril Gahn is not impressive? Like, I know that,
That's what I'm saying.
we're trying to erase history when it comes to Francis as MMA fans, but like, I was fucking blown away that he was able to do that. Because my concept going in was if Francis doesn't knock him out, he's in for a long night. And not only did he not knock him out, but he grappled
back
him
from
on,
down 2 rounds to none.
Yeah, on one knee. Francis would take down Rico and beat him up. I'm fairly certain of that.
Are you interested in that fight? I am.
More interested in boxing or kickboxing than I am MMA.
Which
Still
fight?
interested in MMA, though.
Me too. Yeah.
It's a distant third for me, but sure, I'll take
So
it.
you're more interested in him versus a Derek Lewis?
Rico?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Derek
In
Lewis
the
is going to
UFC?
stand with him.
Yeah. Like in MMA.
Yes.
Meaning like Rico versus the winner of Hokit Lewis, because they offered him Lewis.
I would love to see Rico in the UFC.
Yes.
As a guy just doing fun fights or like going for it. Remember,
Go for it.
At heavyweight, you're going for it no matter what.
Alex Pereira.
Hokit's going to get a title shot after he beats Lewis.
Right. Yeah.
Alex Pereira.
Everyone thought he was going to get smoked.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, for sure. Well, especially in the early run. Once the wrestling, like Jan kind of wrestled him. We don't.
Bro, in the very first fight, who was it? Andreas
Bruno
Michailidis?
Oh,
and he
yes.
got grappled the entire first round and then came out with the knee? Yeah.
Didn't he go to a split with like Bruno Silva or something like that?
No. That was unanimous.
Okay.
He went to a
My
split
bad,
with
my
Jan, though.
He did go to in Utah, the Gaethje Poirier fight card.
Rico doesn't have Alex's.
But look at the okay, fine. But look at the road. The road to get to that title fight. You know what I mean? And also look at the skill set of the people who are ahead of him.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of dudes are gonna like wrestle F him. There's no Jalton Almeida there who's gonna like sit on him.
No, I think Hokit would be a pretty bad matchup. I think if Derek Lewis wins, that's a great spot to slide in.
Away from Curtis.
Keep him away from Curtis Blades.
That might be it. Give him Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo will box with him.
Waldo was taking down Lewis. Waldo was doing what he needed to do in that one.
Waldo was just poking that jab.
Give him Gable. Give him Gable Stevenson.
Okay, now we're talking.
That would be absurd. What else, Frankie? What else?
Zach ain't whack. GC and/or Ariel, y'all watching U.S. Against the World on HBO? Doc series that followed the U.S. men's national team since last World Cup. Pretty sick. Would recommend to get you hyped for next month.
I have seen promos for it, but I have not seen the actual thing. Have you seen it, GC?
No, I need to watch it because I need to get hyped.
I am hyped. I am like properly hyped. I cannot wait. In fact, I've had a few people reach out about doing stuff that weekend because of the. I'm like, man, I want to be at home. I want to watch those games. I don't really care.
I'm assuming y'all saw the McGregor Day will be 2 quarterfinals as well.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be sick.
Is that good? I can't imagine they're gonna be at night, right? They're not gonna be at like. Well, first of all, they're not gonna be at 11 p.m. whenever he fights.
No chance.
I would suspect they're going to be during the day, right?
I would imagine it'll be like a 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock.
That is an all-time day right there.
Fuck, it's gonna be
July 11th. That is an all-time day. What else, Frankie? What else?
Jake from Windy City. Ariel, I enjoyed your writing work in the past. When Uncrowned launched, I was hoping you would write an occasional column. Ever considered writing again?
You know, when I was at ESPN, they really wanted me to write a lot, and I did write a lot. I actually used to write this Monday morning column that took like every single ounce of energy out of me, which is an absurd thing in retrospect because I would also have to book the show and do the show and all that. And this was like thousands of words. It was sort of like my news and notes notebook type of thing. And they really empowered me to have an opinion and all this stuff. I never felt like I was a good writer. There were some people there who would tell me, no, you're good. But now with so much more shows and more stuff going on, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But is there some writing in my future? Yes, there is writing in my future, and you will be able to see it in the future. There is writing in my future. It's just a matter of not burning yourself out and trying to do too much. We have an incredible team, and they're all way better writers than I am. So they don't necessarily need my help. I do appreciate it. And there is writing in the future, but just not right this second. What else, Frankie? What else?
Jacob Flores 76. You heard anything on Peyton Talbot? Saw that tweet a while back and know they usually like to put him on International Fight Week. Could he have turned down Corey?
I don't think he did. And I think he just wants to fight. And for whatever reason, he hasn't gotten a fight yet. And so let's see, the IFW card isn't done, right? It's not finished just yet. I think he just wants to fight and was just kind of throwing it out there. What else, Frankie? What else?
Alfaro Danny. After this interview, I could see why UFC didn't Phumi, LOL.
Didn't sign, maybe? Why? What was wrong? I thought he was great in the interview.
Yeah, stop hating.
Wow. All right, fine. I thought he was great. But I guess different strokes for different folks. I look down at my, usually like when I'm doing the show, I'm so locked in. And then I looked at Twitter, which is open just for news and notes. And I see like a whole storm of people arguing about me and my pay and all this stuff. Why are people so obsessed with my employment? Why is this such a big thing? People
keep my fucking name out your mouth.
Yeah, Darren. That's what I need to tell them. One more time, Darren.
Keep my fucking name out your mouth.
We should all live by that. What else, Frankie? What else?
This is so great.
Yeah.
D_Crump_golf in response to Nakisa. I was surprised you didn't push back. If White House card was on Netflix, do you think it would do more views than the MVP card?
If I say it again? If White House what?
White House card was on Netflix, do you think it would actually do more views than the MVP card?
I think he's asking me.
Yes.
I thought he was saying, why did you push back? I mean, what is there to push back? Really? You do really think that? Yes, Ariel, I think that. Really? You really think that? Yes, I do. What is there to push back on an opinion? Do I think it would do more? With the UFC brand involved?
I do, yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Of course it would.
It's on the White House. You got Elliot Tapori.
Oh yeah. I was just trying to process the question. Yes.
If my
I think what he's trying to say. Wait, what?
What was you gonna say? If
your aunt, what? If my aunt had a.
I think what he was trying to say is the star power was greater on our card, but as I was getting to it, UFC brand, the spectacle of it being on the White House alone.
Yeah.
Usually the venue isn't the draw. In this case, it's very much a draw. And then of course, you do have some names. You have Ilya, you have Sean, you have Alex Pereira. Yeah, that would be a tough one. I would love to do the exercise, but yes, I think ultimately the UFC brand is the greatest. Like that alone on the thing, people know what that is. You know what I mean?
No doubt, yeah.
And honestly, there's probably a big. I think we've learned this. A big sector of the fans who just don't know who Gina is, or don't remember, or didn't grow up watching her. They know who all these people are. They're fans right now because they're those guys are in their prime right now, so they know them.
The UFC is not on Netflix though, so it's like, yes, of course it would do better, but they went with a platform that paid them more and will sustain them throughout the entire year. That wasn't looking for select events. Like it is what it is. It's not like. There is no point to do this thought exercise.
Yeah, the point about the MVP card and it garnering so many views wasn't because it was such an incredible card. It was just like people are going to have to tune into this. The major selling point was that it was on Netflix. That's where it differentiated from the UFC. I see a lot of people being like, well, Netflix has 325 million subscribers and Paramount only has 80. Yeah, that's the point. That's why it was a big deal that they were on Netflix for the MVP card.
I'm happy you say that because even my opening thing where I was like, this is the dawn of a new era. I wasn't saying that because MVP's getting into MMA. Like, quite frankly, that's not the story here. The story was that the biggest streaming platform in the world was getting into MMA. But, it seems like that point was missed. Not once at any point in anything that I said. I saw my friend Steve Cofield talk about this. Like, Ariel was there criticizing Max Kellerman for being, over the top with his praise. There's a massive difference between saying we would not be here unless this guy, the promoter, was born, and all the shilling for TKO and Nick Khan and Dana White, and me saying, yeah, the biggest streaming platform in the world getting into MMA is a big freaking deal. I didn't say Jake Paul getting into MMA is a big deal. I didn't say Nakisa Bidarian getting into MMA is a big deal. I didn't say any of that. I didn't say MVP getting into MMA. No, it was strictly about Netflix. And if that makes people feel some sort of way, I'm sorry. But that's a big freaking deal. As someone who's been watching this sport and covering this sport before anyone was talking about it, as far as the major players, and slowly but surely that changed, it was a big deal for Netflix to get involved in MMA. They've been involved in the live sports world for 2 years now. They didn't show much interest in MMA. Here they are getting into MMA. And it just so happens to be not with the leader, not with the UFC, who we all thought they would be in business with. If you can't recognize that that's a big deal, I don't know what to tell you. And I didn't think that I had to break it down like that. But I made it seem very clear in what I said. We remember the pay-per-view era, and that eventually led to the cable TV era, Spike, and that eventually led to the the premium cable TV era, Showtime, and that led to the broadcast TV era, Fox, and then prior to that, CBS, then Fox, and then, of course, ABC. And now we're into the Netflix era. And that feels like the dawn of a new era. And so let's see what it all translates into. But that was a big deal. That was historic. The numbers would back that up. God, please end this. Could we all move on with our lives? I see these people arguing about my pay and stuff. Do you not have anything better to do? Honestly. Okay, you said it. Great. Now can we move on? Can we talk about Danhausen now? Great. You're worried about who I'm getting paid by. I'll tell you for the 1 millionth time, I have never been paid by a promoter post the UFC incident in 2016. Not a cent, not a penny. They ask me for a car, I say no. A hotel room, no. A flight, no. I have made it very clear that that cannot happen. When I do the ESPN events, production companies. When I do the Netflix events, production company. And that's why you don't see me on other shows. But the way this is structured, maybe because it's the boxing model, it works for me. Now, am I naive enough to think that if they hated me, would I be there? I think Netflix has that say. Netflix would have that say. But I'm okay with being in good standing with people. That's fine. But I ain't getting paid by them, and ultimately, they're not the ones making those final calls. Trust me, if Netflix didn't want me there, I would not be there. And I know this because people were being discussed. So, anyway. What else, Frankie?
Lastly, all I do is UFC. Ariel, if question. If Conor knocks out Max impressively and calls for Islam, does the UFC consider it? If so, biggest fight ever-ish or past its time?
I mean, it would be gigantic. It would be gigantic. Does it get to the numbers? Well, pay-per-view wouldn't exist, but it would be gigantic.
They wouldn't do that.
I don't think they would do it, especially on the last fight of his deal.
If he has one left, there's no way they're putting him.
But I mean, that aside, yeah, it would be a big deal. No doubt. I mean, honestly, another thing that I can't wait to see, what does Conor generate? This will be the first time McGregor is fighting not behind the pay-per-view paywall since he became a superstar, of course.
Yeah, when is the last time? Oh, my God.
It was Diego Brandao.
Yeah, that's a lifetime
Because he fought Diego Brandao in 2014, and then the next one was UFC 178 against Poirier, and then everything else has been pay-per-view.
Wow.
So that was 2014, the summer of 2014, July of 2014. So he has not been in this position, certainly not when he was this famous and of this stature. I'm curious, what does that number mean? Like, what does that translate to? You know? That's going to be fascinating in its own right. So many, many, many things to discuss over the course of the next couple weeks, or months, I should say. A reminder, no show on Monday for me or anyone else.
What the fuck is that?
It is Memorial Day. And
Y'all see them, though.
And I wanted you to play that other one about the, when everyone's talking about my pay, what Nate said, about the Hall of Fame?
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
You have
This is so great.
No, there's another Nate.
Excuse me, I'm getting offended
That
now.
one. That one's a good one. That was a good one. Anyway. But there is Boys in the Back tomorrow. 415 SUP BITB. Do we have a pound for pound? Do we have anything, guys?
Oh,
yeah, tell him, Connor. Tell him what we got.
We will
Look him right in
explain
that
it
camera.
full
and tell him.
tomorrow. We
This
don't have enough
seems
time
to
on
be
the program.
okay, all right.
We have it. We have it. It just takes some explanation.
Fair enough. Crack on Friday, back on Tuesday. Time to say goodbye. By the time I see you again, Rick, will be 4 games in the books. What do you predict the series will be at?
James Harden will be in Cancun by that point. Whether they're still in the series or not, I predict that James Harden will be in Cancun.
What do you think? He's going to get ostracized from the team? He's
Brother,
gonna be
after
shipped
last
off?
night, I think Kenny Atkinson and James Harden should both be shipped to Siberia.
Wow.
That was an
You want Atkinson fired?
Dude, to not call a timeout during that run is legitimately fireable.
Wow.
I don't think he can be the coach after this year, no matter what the result is.
Did you see when they grabbed the rebound at the very end of regulation and Mike Brown tried to call timeout?
And hurt himself.
Yeah, and he said that he pulled his calf muscle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Kenny Atkinson didn't pull anything because he was frozen in place while the Cavs were collapsing.
Weird. James Harden versus Pete Carroll is looking more and more likely
Pete
for
would
international
starch
fight.
that bum.
Yo, do it on that Aiden Ross show.
What are those called again?
The Aiden Ross show, the brand risk?
Brand risk.
Yeah.
Fuck, we got to talk about that.
Oh yeah, you know what? First of all, I need a deep dive on that tomorrow. Odds and all, preview and all.
Brand risk.
I was going through the schedule this week and I didn't mention that one. That's actually truth be told, there are people who love watching fighting on Saturday. I think that's like the only major. You get what I'm saying? The only broadcasted MMA on Saturday. There's no UFC. There's no PFL Saturday night, that is.
When is PFL? In the morning?
It's afternoon because it's in Belgium.
Where is this on?
It's on YouTube.
Oh shit!
And
YouTube,
Kick, don't
Kick,
forget.
and Twitch.
It's going to do crazy numbers.
And X. More than Netflix?
We'll debate it. Thank you to all our guests. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to all that. Back tomorrow. Same time.